But if man had to find out that his God was a woman,
I say the black woman is God, and
Black woman is God.
I say the black woman is God.
The black woman is God because, you know, she was the first organism on this planet.
But does anyone see that? No. Does anyone care about that? No. All they see is an aggressive black girl talking.
I want what you white hoes get, and I want it today, ASAP, not tomorrow.
These angry, mad, opportunistic, lying black women.
These blacks.
Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please. Like.
We are absolutely winning right now. Absolutely. We have done more than change the conversation. We changed the balance of power in the federal government.
only one. You're the only one under the sun that can make me lose my mind. You make me wanna live this life. You're the only one. You're the one. Live this You're the only one. You're the only one. Close my eyes. Live this life. You're the only one. You're the only one under the sun that can make me lose my mind. You make me wanna live this life. You're the only one. You're the
Good morning, Mike check. It feels like a good beat to walk into the show on. We're gonna start out on this nice vibe right here. Black liberation and white male violence. I mean, this is the tale of the tape right here. Actually, I did a show about this story. This was like 4 years ago on the Bernard Riley show. Is that the 2021 contract? That big red line in the middle. This is all about homicide. This is where the 1350. This is the truth of the meme. I want to show you something though, and this was the show I did with Bernard Riley years ago. It was really based not around the red line in the middle, but the yellow line just to the right. Black female murders per 100,000. Black women commit up to, at the ages of 15 to 64, that's the grand total. Black women commit 8.7 murders per 100,000, and white men commit 5.2 murders per 100,000, which would mean, statistically, by per capita, you know that racist concept, Black women are more homicidal than even white men. According to the white man's data. So you know how the white man's data be white man and stuff. But that is kind of the talk of the town lately, said Black women are doing it for themselves. That is true. Now, I guess I want to jump over to, we're going to ease our way into this conversation, but basically what I've noticed popping up recently is a comparison between a woman like Assata Shakur, who just passed away recently, still on the run in Cuba for like 50 years or whatever. But there have been comparisons between her and Charlie Kirk. And the idea that, well, if you guys get to have your heroes, why can't we mourn our heroes, right?
Interesting. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and fight and flight in order to survive. Exactly. So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people. Right. They had to be savages. They had to be barbaric. They had, because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough. Torrential environments. So they're acting as animals. Right. So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and fight and flight in order to survive. Exactly.
So there is a conversation going on where the nature of the white man and his alleged violence has come to the surface, because, you know, there's been the Charlie Kirk thing, and then school shootings, mass shootings in general. Some guy ran up in a Mormon church and all that. Lots and lots of things have been happening recently, and it's gotten people worried about the idea of white men being violent.
And I have to go to work. My life is falling apart, and I have to get up and fucking go to work.
Actually, I think she's just having a breakdown.
Apart, but I have to go to work.
She's just having a meltdown in general.
Right? I'm a Black woman in America, scared for my life, but I have to get up and go to work. What the fuck?
to go to work today and pretend like none of this shit is happening. But hey, make the best of it, right? We're going to make it a good day, right? Have a good day.
Yes, have a good day. I feel like that's a pep talk she gives herself in the mirror every morning, just crying her eyes out. We're going to make the best of it. We're going to have a good day, right? Right. You go get him, girl. And face facts, no. According to all the data that I've managed to source, Black women are significantly more violent than white men at a rate of 8.7 to 5.2 per 100,000. That is a significant jump. So the data, the data says what it says. That woman is statistically more likely to go commit a homie than a random white folks. Just throwing that out there. I know we've been told otherwise, but these are numbers. You do what you want with them.
Reason why people say the liberation of Black people is the liberation of all, because we are the lowest on the fucking totem pole. And if you lift anything up from the very fucking bottom, you lift the whole of everything that is above it. It ain't nothing beneath a nigga on this.
I always wonder what people really mean. If you listen to enough leftists, and I think I saw the Signifier dude. He dropped a video recently. This guy.
But I want to address this simping allegation. Do I simp for Black women? Yes. I love Black women. I don't like y'all niggas. This is an easy decision to make. Sorry.
I heard him drop a video recently, and he talked about the idea of Black liberation. And if you listen to enough of these leftist type people, they throw around this term of Black liberation. And I've never actually been able to pin anybody down in a conversation in real time. But I gotta know what do they mean when they say Black liberation? What do they mean? What do they think Black people must be liberated from? I don't really get that.
This planet. I'm not even just America. So if we get liberated, then the LGBTQ, immigration, all of that shit gotta change.
And then notice how immediately Black liberation immediately leads to some gay shit. I do not make the rules, bro. I am just noticing. I'm like a dude out in the wilderness just tracking the environment, and I'm like, it's Black then gay, huh? Okay.
Planet. I'm not even just America. So if we get liberated, then the LGBTQ, immigration, all of that shit gotta change.
So Black liberation is the effective destruction of America. We just get overrun with gays and immigrants, and that's it. That's liberation. You call that freedom? And then what have you been liberated from if that's what you need to come and save you?
If we get liberated.
You have no idea how harmful white supremacy is. It does not just manifest in the form of overt violence, like police officers pulling the trigger or hate groups marching in the streets. White supremacy kills in the classroom, where Black children are disproportionately disciplined, placed into...
White supremacy kills in the classroom? How many Black kids have been killed in a school shooting? As much as Black folk like to criticize white folk about this school shooter thing, technically school shootings would be white on white violence, right? It's not like they're running up into the Martin Luther King Academy, taking out Raekwon and Pookie and them. That is Kyle on Kyle activity.
Special education and denied access to advanced coursework due to the implicit biases of their teachers. It kills in the workplace, where Black professionals are underpaid, overworked, and overlooked for promotions despite their qualifications. It kills in the doctor's office, where Black patients receive lower quality care and their...
They killing niggas in the doctor's office? Oh, crazy work. Crazy. You could just go to the doctor's office and they be like, oh, that's a nigga. Dead. Wow. Wow. I'm never getting sick again. I am only taking homeopathic roots and herbs from now on. They're going to kill me at the hospital. Which I already believed that, but for completely different reasons, though. It had nothing to do with black. It was somewhere around the scamdemic when I was like, you know what? They'll kill me for money. I don't know. It just occurred to me somewhere around that time that this entire building full of people would actually kill me for money. They probably got paperwork in there somewhere just for that thing.
Pain is dismissed and their health outcomes suffer as a result. It even kills in the supermarket, where Black communities are systematically deprived of fresh food, forcing them into nutritional deserts that contribute to long-term health disparities. White supremacy is not just an ideology. It's a system designed to choke the very existence of Black people at every level of society. And you do not have to call someone the N-word to uphold white supremacy, nor do you have to wear a hooded sheet. White supremacy operates in the mundane, the unnoticed, in the everyday decisions that maintain racial hierarchies. It exists in school curriculums that erase Black history or frame enslavement as a necessary economic system. It exists in housing policies that continue to segregate communities, ensuring that Black families are kept in underfunded districts with failing schools. It exists in the criminal justice system, where Black people are over-policed, sentenced more harshly for the same crimes as white defendants, and disproportionately killed by law enforcement.
You know, it almost sounds like Black folk just need to be liberated from life itself. I mean, is it really that bad? We just need to liberate Black people from existence entirely. It is life itself that is holding us down. Everything is just painful and hurtful. Everywhere you go, there's racism and oppression. Black folk just need to be liberated from life totally.
It exists in a bail system that imprisons Black people for being too poor to afford their freedom, while wealthier white defendants.
No, he's not 30% white. This nigga is like, he's like 45% oppression, bro. This nigga is genetically oppression. He got 45% oppression genes. The nerve of this genetically oppressive nigga to get up here and try to tell us what's really going on. This nigga got oppression in his blood. He got hate in his blood, goddammit.
Oh man, hate.
He systematically hates himself.
Walk free. It exists in the environmental policies that allow corporations to pollute Black communities with little consequences, shortening life expectancy without a gun ever being fired. It exists in the way white-centered narratives are prioritized and protected, while any effort to challenge them is met with backlash, censorship, and outright hostility. The danger of white supremacy lies in how normalized it has become, how deeply it's woven into the fabric of everyday life.
He's like a biracial Jesus. Straight gone.
Many people do not recognize it because they've never had to. They believe racism is only individual acts of hatred rather than the institutional and systemic forces that shape the world around them. They do not see how their silence, their comfort, and their refusal to acknowledge this system makes them complicit in its survival. White supremacy is not just the past, it is the present. And without deliberate action, it will continue to shape the future. Until people are willing to confront the depth of its harm, to see how it suffocates and destroys, nothing will change. And that is.
Yeah, so he's one of those Black liberationist types, right? He wants liberation for the Blacks. But again, it has no real definitive meaning. It's just like, it's sloganeering at best, right? Black liberation is sloganeering, but we've created an entire universe of Black thought that is essentially Black liberation thought. And this is where you get guys like Ta-Nehisi Coates. The nigga name is Ta-Nehisi. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
I don't take any joy in saying this, but we sometimes soothe ourselves by pointing out that love, acceptance, warmth, that these are powerful forces. I believe they are. I also believe hate is a powerful force. I believe it's a powerful, powerful unifying force. And I think
Yes, hate is a powerful force, you know? Give hate a chance, man.
Oh man, hate.
it's warmth that these are powerful forces. I believe they are. I also believe hate is a powerful force. I believe it's a powerful, powerful unifying force. And I think Charlie Kirk was a hate monger. You know, I really need to say this over and over again. I have a politic that rejects violence, that rejects political violence. I take no joy in the killing of anyone, no matter what they said. But if you ask me what the truth of his life was, you know, and the truth of his public life, I would have to tell you it's hate. I would tell you I'd have to tell you it is the usage of hate and the harnessing of hate towards political ends.
Now, again, at the same time, we have a relative Black hero who also recently passed away, Assata Shakur, convicted of murder against a New Jersey police officer, and allegedly, I think my favorite story about her is she robbed churches, apparently. And this is our hero versus you know, their hero, right? The Black versus the white. And I've been noticing for a while now that Black America doesn't quite have proper heroes. Like, if you go back to the civil rights era or the revolutionaries and whatnot, they were all mostly criminals and degenerates of one type or another. Sexual deviants, criminals, and communists, and not a lot of generally morally upstanding people. Shout out to Bluff City Nerd, by the way, with the 5-ball. Black liberation is cope for losing at life, just like feminism and anti-capitalism. And that is exactly why so much of the Black movement was really lost from the start. It was corrupt at its core because it was built on the losers at life. Like, the Black liberation movements, they literally attract and recruit from the criminal element. And then you combine that with like feminism and communism and anti-capitalism, and you get an inherently dysfunctional group of people. Just inherently incapable of getting it done right, because they don't actually believe in what it takes to get it done right. They believe in what it takes to destroy the actual system that you would need to exist in. And these are conflicting paths. You can't be anti-civilization within the heart of civilization. You deserve to be outcast at that point.
Right. A majority of the country believes things about trans people, about what policy should be towards trans people, about what language is acceptable to trans people, that like we would see as fundamentally and morally wrong.
Right.
And what politically, not in a column or something, but politically, should our relationship with those people be? Do we win them over? Do we compromise with them? Like, this feels like a very salient question. The Republican Party is going to make sure this is a relentlessly salient question.
Right.
So
I agree with that.
Where does the approach leave us? Right? Where do we go on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question.
Now, I want you to take note of the structure of this moment on screen here. A Jewish journalist and a Black liberation radical conferring about how to get people to accept more gay. How do we get people to like more gay stuff? And look where the Black guy goes.
Look, I think a couple things. I think, again, look, my tradition is the only thing I have a reference point for, so I'm sorry to keep going back to this, but
No, he says, my tradition is the only thing I have a reference point for, right? his tradition being slavery and oppression and the white man evil?
A couple things. I think, again, look, my tradition is the only thing I have a reference point for, so I'm sorry to keep going back to this. But when I look at the times that we have lost, if I think specifically about the Black tradition, for instance, it's hard for me to say politically they did something wrong. You know what I mean? Like, Reconstruction falls. What was the thing that should have been done?
And speaking of white man bad, let's jump over to Don Lemon.
I have nothing to apologize for. It is a tragedy that Charlie Kirk was killed in that way. I feel for his widow and his children. They will have to live with that for the rest of their lives. But there is no legacy to honor. It was a legacy filled with bigotry, hatred, and white supremacy. Mm-hmm. And as a Black woman and as a Muslim in this country, I refuse to join the chorus that changes the history of what is on the record from this man.
As a quote Black woman, and then also as a quote Muslim, you are putting yourself in opposition to the very nature of what this country is. And those are two different things, with her being a Black woman, which I don't even like her considering herself a Black woman. You're a Somali. You're not from Brooklyn, Keisha. You from over there.
And so, Nancy Mace, the president, like whatever, these crazy people can do whatever they want to do. Yeah. But I am not going to be bullied into complacency, into, dishonoring who I am and what I stand for, just to, make them feel comfortable. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
And speaking of heroes, the left in general, from a political standpoint, they do not have heroes the way like Charlie Kirk has become in his death a right-wing hero.
Anytime, that he sees a Black woman sort of stand up for herself, that is intelligent, that is able to command respect, he wants to go after them and break them down. But he doesn't understand that you can't really bully a Black woman, right? Like, we're built different.
Yeah. Let me ask you about this, because he has said just within the last few days, I don't know if he said news about you being, quote, taken back to Somalia. And I know, look, that is go back to Africa.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
That kind of race.
Heard that. Yeah.
Of course I've heard.
Well, Somalia is in Africa. Is Africa bad or something? Is something wrong with you going back? Is that not your home? Just the other day, I heard you say you were a proud Somalian.
Have you seen that moment? Where he said that? He said, I spoke to the head of Somalia.
Yes. Well, it's the irony of him saying he spoke to the head of Somalia when he continuously said Somalia does not have a leader. It's kind of actually hilarious. And then if anybody knows the head of Somalia, they know that,
I'm almost like 90% positively certain that Ilhan Omar is like blood relatives to Somali warlords, right? She's not just like regular Somali people. She's like got a warlord uncle or something. Like her uncle is the king of the tribe. They probably own slaves in Somalia or some shit like that.
What the president says cannot be true.
Well, he says, I spoke to the head of Somalia, and the head of Somalia said, ask her to take her back. And he said, I don't want her. Do you laugh at that? So
Yes.
Why?
Because I know the president of Somalia. And he wouldn't say anything like that. But also, why in the world would he take me back? I'm not like some stateless person. I'm a citizen of the United States. Right. I'm a member of Congress.
Right.
So it would actually be really disrespectful for the president of Somalia to be like, yeah, sure, we'll take Ilhan back.
Yeah, I don't know that the Muslim president of Somalia really gives a damn about what this woman got to talk about. Are there any Somali women in the Somalian government? Do they even let them do that over there? I'm pretty sure that's like haram or something. I'm pretty sure that's like against their book.
Is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. That's the world they want back. And to get
Here's Joy Reid describing the fascist utopia that white men want badly. They're trying to bring back the good old days, and it just sounds amazing though. Like, I kind of want to live here.
is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change. They need people to be less modern. They need people to want fewer things. Is that
Every time they describe fascist utopia, it sounds like a place I want to raise my kids in. It really is. It's like, can we try that a little bit? Can we try some of that? I don't think you guys hear yourselves. This is bad. I mean, this is way better than the stuff we got right now. But more people are waking up, though.
So the Democrats want to give away $1.4 billion of free motherfucking money to the immigrants for health care. And if not, if the other side don't agree with it, they talking about shutting down the motherfucking government. Why the fuck do you bitches fight so hard for everybody but your own motherfucking people? I'm sorry. Those folks weren't supposed to be here to begin with. I don't really give two flying fucks. What about us? What about us motherfuckers who struggle to pay for health care? And even though we pay a fortune on our motherfucking health care, it still ain't enough. It still the fuck ain't enough. You still got to come out of pocket for hella shit. Motherfuckers dying because they can't afford health care around this bitch. Are you fucking kidding me? You be dying and have to be motherfucking airlifted. You know how much that shit costs? I saw a lady post her bill. It was almost $60,000 motherfucking dollars. That's what we deal with when it comes to healthcare. Sorry, not motherfucking sorry. They got to fend for their goddamn self.
Damn, I think you can book a helicopter flight in New York for like $500, man. That's crazy. Y'all getting robbed. You can fly around for like an hour in a helicopter for $500 in New York. You can probably get it for $350 on Groupon.
Us, Americans, before you worry about helping everybody else. God damn. I'm sick of that motherfucking ass. And you know what? I don't even think the money going to the people. The money they want to give to the illegal immigrants, it ain't going to the illegal immigrants. It's going in their pocket. It's got to be.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is. But here's the magic, though. This is how the game works, right? You got to be gassed up on like racism and oppression and black liberation. And then while you fighting for black liberation, they get the money. And you over here doing programs like
Welcome to America.
And they stealing your money.
Welcome to America. Tell me what you're thinking.
Just so much.
Kleenexes, please.
I've always been interested in his.
You know, honestly, she should have turned it around on him. As soon as he said, "Tell me what you're thinking," she should have said, "You know what? This is totally backwards, right? These belong on you, nigga." She should have totally flipped it on him. You got these on the wrong bitch. These are for you, nigga. I think somebody needs to go into that exercise one day and just totally role play the shit the wrong way.
Tell me what you're thinking.
Just so much.
Kleenexes, please.
I've always been interested in.
Yeah, you know, these shackles aren't that heavy. I bet I could pick a lot of cotton with these things on. Tone up my upper body strength. These are actually kind of cool. You know, I got actual ankle and wrist weights at home. They weigh about as much as these.
history and the history of Black people. I took Afrocentric classes at U of L. My grandma lived at 2821 West Kentucky Street. I've read so many books, and now I belong to a church that's primarily African American, and I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Oh, damn. She up in there in the Black church. She getting that Black God.
But if man had to find out that his God was a woman,
I say the Black woman is God, and
Black woman is God.
I say the Black woman is God.
The Black woman is God because, you know, she was the first organism on this planet.
So her clam is filling up with guilt moisture. Ew.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You know what? Honestly, I wonder how much that guy gets paid.
Welcome to America.
You understand? He's got like a racism boner right now. And he's getting paid to watch old white women cry and glaze Black people. He got like a giant 8-foot racism boner right now. I'm telling you. This has got to be like the most psychologically, emotionally stimulating shit that a nigga has ever had since crack cocaine. Rick James ain't never felt like this before. This shit right here got to be good. And he getting money? Oh, man. He's like a Black hero. He does look like TD Jakes, though. TD Jakes getting that real money. He got to get this money the hard way. But like I was saying, though, Assata Shakur has passed away recently. And apparently the Chicago Teachers Union, you know, the ones who can't get the Chicago kids to read, they are mourning the passing of Assata Shakur.
Assata Shakur, a domestic terrorist and murderer who escaped from a U.S. prison in 1979 and lived in exile in Cuba ever since, has died at age 78. Shakur was a far-left communist radical associated with extremist groups like the Black Panthers and the Black Liberation Army in the 1960s and 1970s. This makes her a popular figure with many leftists, even though she is also a convicted cop killer. Indeed, she has been on the FBI's most wanted terrorist list since 2013. Of her numerous crimes, the most heinous, of course, was the murder of New Jersey State Trooper Werner Forster on May 2nd, 1973, during a traffic stop. She was convicted of the murder.
Well, let's go through this theory a little bit out loud. Let me pontificate. Let me get all extemporaneous for a moment, if I may. SKC says that I have a new theory why Blacks in general follow more left ideology hood. It meshes with your no Black heroes concept, right? Now, what I'm beginning to imagine, what I'm beginning to think about this whole issue of Blacks and traditional heroism. You remember a while back I pointed out that even in Hollywood, which Hollywood is kind of like the id of the culture in a lot of ways, you don't get a lot of Black men saving the world. And in general, Black people do not really save the world in movies. Will Smith is like the go-to Black guy when the world's on the line. But I started to notice that, and then I think that it's kind of it's kind of a piece when we talk about the Black men and Black heroes, because at its core, what is it to be a hero? Let's do a live search real quick. I'm going to type in the word hero and just do a quick definition. Let's jump over here. Actually, you know what? Let's go with more traditional. I'm going to go to Google. Get out of this Brave browser. Let's go to Google. Hero. a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievement, or noble qualities. The very first example, a war hero. Are you starting to see where the problem with hero and black starts to come in? The very concept of a hero is almost intrinsically a masculine idea unto itself. In a lot of ways, the hero is a condensation of all the best parts of the male archetype. And I think because the black culture is almost it's inherently matriarchal, thus feminine. And it may have been relatively matriarchal, even going all the way back into the African cultures that we allegedly come from. But the concept of the hero is such a purely masculine, it's a pure condensation of masculinity, right? Again, it's all the best parts of masculinity combined into a singular man. And I think not only does black culture in and of itself struggle with that very reality, but leftism, for different reasons, kind of rejects that very concept of the hero. But Diogenes with the 5 ball, he says, slavery has been racist. Slavery has been recast as racism in the hope that we won't recognize it when they enslave us all. That is true. That is true. That's the long run, I think. No. SKC, if you want to come up, I'll shoot you the link. Matter of fact, I'll shoot you the link right now on X. Let me send you a quick message on X, and we can keep this tight. I don't think I want to open up the panel fully just yet, but I'm sure you have some interesting thoughts to add to the Black Hero conversation. So the link is there in your if you go to X SKC, you got the link. But speaking of slavery, Diogenes, and thank you so much for the super chat. Speaking of slavery, though, the black conception of heroism is literally born in slavery. Your first Black American heroes are basically like fighting slavery, you know, Nat Turners and such like that. This is why the Haitian rebellion is always lauded as a thing that Black folks should be proud of, even though Haiti kind of starved itself ever since the rebellion. And it was an awful French Revolution kind of affair at the same time. But one second, SKC. I think the very problem of the idea of heroism being inherently masculine and Black culture being almost inherently feminine is one of the main disconnects between Black culture and heroism. It's too manly for them to totally grasp it. But maybe I'm going off in a poor direction. You got the floor, SKC. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Chilling.
Now, I wanted to kind of follow suit with what you were talking about, but there's a particular angle that I was thinking about. I think it was
SKC, I'm sorry. Your mic is uncharacteristically unclear. There's something very, very strange about your audio.
Is this better?
There you go.
All right. So what I was saying was I wanted to kind of follow suit with where you were going, because I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago I was thinking about the whole hero thing, and one thing that I found interesting in a lot of the old tales, whether it is mythology or even just in history in general, from nations all over the world,
they honor heroes on both sides. So say if there was a foe that someone came across or some nation dealt with, they still find that there are heroes that perhaps they didn't agree with, but they give some sort of note to them, whether it was a grand burial or the proverbial head nod or some sort of recognition for their valor or whatever. And as I was going through that, I found that a lot of the concepts with Black heroism, they don't have that at all.
No.
And I think that kind of meshes into why it's so easy for Das Communitas to say, yeah, tear down the Confederate soldier statues and so forth, because they view them solely as enemies that are completely unworthy of any sort of valor for what they did at all.
Right. And at the same time, none of these men today could imagine being a man facing down a cavalry charge, which is low-key what was still going on back in the Civil War days. Like, we still had kind of like more old school style of war. We were blending gunfire with Roman phalanx type tactics of warfare. And the modern men can't understand what it is to be a man of that time and to lead other men of that time into the jaws of death. And then some of them came out alive. Some of them made it through the other side and they lived. And this is why I take no issue with the South as a thing, or even the statues and whatnot, because I recognize them as men who did great things in the realms of men.
Yeah. So the very concept of acknowledging the heroism, even of people that were not on your side, is something that I think is wholly absent from community culture at all. Wholly.
Absolutely. I want to play a short that I just dropped earlier today, because I'm out of the habit of making videos and stuff. My schedule doesn't really permit that, but I felt like I got to get this one off. But the concept of Black and white violence in this country, several times now I've heard this definition. Like, even in the beginning of the show, Nick Cannon went on this kind of rant about white people being violent, and it's almost when they talk about conquest and warfare and colonizational efforts in the same way that we criticize Black violence, which is like random chaotic street violence. Like the train thing, the North Carolina train thing is the most glaring example in the differences of what we're trying to talk about. Whereas you're comparing a more civilizational struggle, like one group against another, versus being uncharacteristically violent within the context of a civilized society. And it's this inability to grasp that one thing only vaguely looks like the other, but they're completely different. And I want to play this video with you and tell me what you think of this idea, SKC.
Like you, and men who sound like you. Men who look like you, men who vote like you, and men who sound like you. White men, something is broken. Something is cracked deep inside when so many of you believe the answer to fear, to loss, to change is violence.
When you vote, you are exercising political authority. You're using force. And force, my friends, is violence, the supreme authority from which all other authority is derived. Naked force has resolved more issues throughout history than any other factor. The contrary opinion, that violence never solves anything, is wishful thinking at its worst.
Men who look like you, men who vote like you, and men who sound.
Do black people have a proper grasp on the nature and the relationship between violence and civilized society?
I don't think so. In fact, I think that I would say Das Communitas and more of the left, in various ways, have a disdain for the definition of civilization or civilized society. You know how they will argue that all civilizations or all cultures are equal, but they will never want to sit down and have that conversation of, okay, let's see how they are equal. Let's test that theory.
There was a great clip from Trigonometry where these guys they're interviewing this lady.
Yeah, I saw that one.
The thing about the Aboriginals, and it was a great moment because it was a harmless question, but it triggered something so deep within like her ideological core that she couldn't move on from it. And basically the point was, why were the Europeans able to conquer and colonize the Aboriginals?
Yeah, she had full stop. It caused her to clam up for a long time, to look at the guy, and then she went right back to the what you'll hear a lot in academia. So are you saying that they're better?
Yeah, and it was she immediately went on some type of attack instead of attempting to understand the reality, because to understand it would be to now have to question your own concept of reality. And I want to get back to the Assata Shakur thing, because we're comparing black liberation and white male violence, but in reality, the subtext though, with what I keep stumbling with the Assata Shakur name. I hate these Star Wars names. God damn it, you fucking foreigners. Her name is probably Linda. Wait a minute. Hold on. What was her real name? I think I had her real name up here somewhere. Fucking Assata, Star Wars ass name ass bitch. Joanne Deborah Chesmerd. All right. Her name is Joanne. Fucking hell, bro. Got me up here tongue tied, stumbling and shit. I would never stumble over Joanne. Anyway, we are kind of comparing not really the black liberation and the white male violence of it, but the examples of heroism that are on display now, because Joanne is a hero of the left, while Charlie is a hero of the right, meaning Joanne is a black hero and Charlie is a white hero.
But escaped from prison in 1979 with the help of left-wing groups, and she fled to Cuba, where the communist government welcomed her as a hero. But Cuban communists are not the only ones who revere Shakur as a hero, rather than a murderer. For decades, she's been a popular figure among leftist radicals. News headlines from mainstream and progressive outlets often recognize her as the godmother of Tupac Shakur, as if she were just another celebrity. The New York Times obituary describes her as a convicted revolutionary. That sounds pretty cool, like they went after her because she was too hip and edgy, too revolutionary. But no, she wasn't convicted of being a revolutionary. She was convicted of cold-blooded murder. She was also charged with numerous other crimes, by the way, including bank robbery, armed robbery, other murders. Those charges didn't stick for a variety of reasons. Cop killer did stick. She was convicted of it. I think that's not the sort of person we would want to hold up as a role model. Call me crazy.
I had an interesting back and forth with Keep It 100. Let me see if I can pull up that because it was in the comments to something he posted, and he was talking about Afeni Shakur.
How have things been going on that side of YouTubia?
I mean, well enough, you know, I'm good. I don't have any new enemies. Same enemies I've always had, I guess. But I made a comment. Oh, here we are. Here we are. Killing cops, right? So the FBI director Kash Patel tells people not to mourn Tupac's godmother, right? Which, if you're the FBI director, you would not let your people mourn a cop killer. That's just standard FBI. Like, why would that's basic police culture. So I'm like, why would you post this as if, you know, he's wrong out here? Like, so Kurt good, Assata bad. Why is that hard to swallow, bro? And so now if it's fuck our heroes, it's fuck yours. And that is literally how people feel about, you know, Assata Shakur versus Charlie Kirk, right? She's a hero. And black men shouldn't have female heroes either, but that's a whole nother sidebar. I hate you niggas with female heroes. But killing cops, right? Reply. So cops wasn't killing black people in the 60s, bro. Now, I'm pretty sure I responded to him, and I don't know, maybe he deleted my response, but I pointed out to him in the response that if your heroes are the enemies of civilization, then so are you. But it looks like that response isn't there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he deleted it, maybe I didn't press send properly, I don't know, maybe, but there is this weird issue of not having a proper grasp of what a hero truly is and who is deserving of heroism rather, who has actually earned heroism, who is deserving of those accolades.
Well, you know, if I was to play devil's advocate, and I'm thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the chat, I think your chat probably goes to both sides to hear you comment and stuff over there as well. But if I was over there and I'm trying to put myself in the mind of that group, they would probably reply with something like, well, that's American culture. There are white people who are criminals that are venerated.
Did you know there was an Al Capone museum?
See, yeah, it'll be stuff like that along that line. There's movies about this or this person or this person, or whatever. Am I in the ballpark?
Yeah, no, that was a literal part of the conversation that we had on 100s the other night.
God dang.
About how they have museums to Al Capone and such gangsters.
And that's what I mean. It's people not being able to make distinctions between points of contrast or even things that are similar but are not the same. There's a reason why something is called being similar instead of being the same. And yeah.
You know, remember when we were kids and we would have that simple thing, you know, which one of these things is not like the other? And I want to show like a picture of like, I don't know, a battle scene from like, you know, ancient Rome or something. And then niggas shooting at each other in New Jack City. Are these the same?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the approach that I hear people taking when they start to talk about it like that. Like, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, there is violence in general from an organized warfare standpoint, and then it's just, you know, getting stabbed by some random nigga as you walk out of Taco Bell. I don't think these are the same things. You can't even compare them.
And yet leftists are using the occasion of her death to memorialize her as someone who spoke truth to power and fought for a more equitable world. Seriously, the remembrances are pouring in. The Democratic Socialists of America wrote on X, "Rest in power," and thanked Cuba, an authoritarian state that brutally jails dissenters, for their solidarity and loyalty, allowing Assata to live out her days in Havana.
Now, Charlie Kirk lived a relatively harmless life, right? I'm not going to say he was without sin, but from an American legal standpoint, he was legally without sin, right?
Well, I think anyone could make the charge that he lived a violence-free life.
Right. And then not only that, attempted to do the normal thing, married, start a family, whatnot, run a business, the basics of life, right? And now you have Miss Joanne robbing banks, shooting police, robbing churches, never bothered to have a man, have a family, none of the things. Did you even fall in love while you was in Cuba? I bet she was in Cuba dyking it. I bet you she was eating Cuban carpets.
If you don't have a man, you ain't nothing.
But somehow she is a Black hero. This is heroism. She has achieved a life of accolade that Black folk now, they give her props for.
Yeah, I don't understand the bank robberies, the armed takeovers. I think she had some kidnapping charges. Of course, all of the it's the open incitements of violence with I think was she part of that Black Liberation Army and so forth. I mean, you're literally involved with a group that calls itself an army inside of inside of a country.
Was Angela Davis a part of the Black Liberation Army as well, or no? Was that Black Guerrilla Family? I'm not sure. It's all this Black soldier bullshit.
Guerrilla Family.
In the press that in your school you had a wall of heroes, and on the wall of heroes included a big photo of Assata Shakur, who is a convicted cop killer who has been on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, and with a $2 million reward, and she's in Cuba or wherever she is. I'd like you to make a statement here that you would support the extradition of Assata Shakur, and that you think it was a mistake of you to teach the children in your school that a cop killer should be on the wall of heroes.
So, who are you to tell anyone how they should engage with their own history? And people in
That is Jamal Bowman.
You know that's an interesting concept right there of what Bowman just stated when he kind of I guess he stated, who are you to state how people should engage with their history, right? Shouldn't that apply to the Confederacy?
Well, I'll take you one deeper, right? Why are we not allowed to read the writings of 18th century travelers who visited Africa? Isn't that the white man's history?
Yeah.
Somehow we have to live in this fantasy imagination that we were all like in an African utopian village before the white man came and ruined it with his technology and his organized religion and his rules about marriage and chastity and all that. We had a good thing going.
I don't know. It's interesting when you look at some of even the African writers that wrote about the history of their countries.
African writers, this had to be like in the 1960s because they weren't doing that shit before then.
Well, take for instance, what was the name of that slave that escaped and he wrote his own memoir?
12 Years a Slave?
Huh?
Was it the 12 Years a Slave? Was that based on a real guy?
No. I'm talking, that was based on a real guy, but there was another one who was taken from Africa, and then he, learned to read and write, and then he wrote his own memoirs. His name starts with an O. But even he tells of
it was Lincoln Osiris.
Even he tells of how his village was burned and he was captured, and his parents and stuff were killed by other blacks, and how they were taken and to this other village of black people and sold like 2 or 3 times before they even got to the white people.
So a whole network, and I was kind of going in on Africa about this because it's actually funny when I started to think about it. Like, I don't think Africa had much industry beyond slaves. So like they literally wasn't farming. They weren't really like, doing timber harvesting or whatever. No lumber mills in the heart of Africa, shit like that. There was just like killing them, eating them, and selling them, right? And it's just crazy. The white man, he literally revolutionized y'all. Y'all was slaving wrong if you really think about it. Like in the grand scheme of things, you could have done so much with all this human potential, and you literally just ate some of them niggas and sold the rest. Like it's kind of fucked up when you think about it. You niggas did slavery all wrong.
Yeah, that's his name. Olada Equiano. Yeah. And he wrote a narrative about how he was captured, what happened to him and his sister, and how his family was broken up, and how the slave raiders with his other black tribe that burned his village down, and how that was the norm.
Yeah, they ate the Einsteins and sold the Mozarts, bro. That is why we over here in America, we got all the swagger now, but we don't have the Einstein shit like that. We don't produce as many Einsteins as we do Jay-Z's and Biggies and shit like that. We ate them niggas a long time ago. We killed that whole genetic tree.
So my school included Black and Latino students. We try to teach as much about Black and Latino history as possible. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And so when we learn about the founding fathers of America, do they talk about Thomas Jefferson owning slaves and raping them as his concubines? No.
I mean, you got to pick one. Slaves is a little lower than concubine, I would imagine. But technically, I mean, if you go far enough back in time, slave, concubine, same shit, right? I hate to be that guy. That's Casey. You can fall back. You can mute up and totally disavow this next line. But you mean to tell me his female slaves had to do what women will always be doing anyway, which is cooking, cleaning, and having sex? What a terrible life that was. Oh my God. Oh my God. Imagine doing the shit that women have always done forever and ever and ever. They cooked, they cleaned, and they had sex, and they made babies. Oh, that must have been so awful.
I don't understand the argument of the Bowmans of the world, because I'm thinking when you're talking about education, K through 12, right? And I guess when you're getting into the part of where you want to talk about some of the atrocities, that would be 9 through 12. A lot of the histories about Jefferson and others that owned slaves actually came from white people. It wasn't black people that wrote this stuff.
So even black history is still the white man's history because you niggas wasn't doing a lot of writing back then.
Oh, we built a statue for Thomas Jefferson. So who are you or anyone to say how kids should deal with their own history? And so we have to learn our history, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
So you'll refuse to denounce the top
I
killer?
don't refuse to denounce. I'm answering the question the way I want to answer it. Our kids in my school learned the history of the people on the walls and many other people. And so that's what we did. Period. Yes.
I have a question. What did she accomplish that would put her in the same realm as Thomas Jefferson?
Dang, that's a heck of a question.
Heavy question.
He has nothing to say.
Well, he's going to say something, but it will be nothing. And the audio sucks because this was not meant to be recorded. This is like cell phone video, bro. We're lucky to have this moment.
Sir L. Sid said, what was the question?
He's probably gonna say that.
Period. Yes.
I have a question. What did she accomplish that would put her in the same realm as Thomas Jefferson?
I'd rather not go into this that deeply, but she was a member of the Black Panther Party.
She was a member of the Black Panther Party. Your hero, this is what I was referring to about like civilizational heroes, right? Thomas Jefferson is a hero of American civilization, right? He was a founding father. His ideas and his effort, his work went into like the thing that we all benefit from now. I'll give the Panthers that food program thing, but what have the Panthers really done that's benefited Black America or America in general?
Well, I think it becomes you basically just place the pros and the cons of, you know, the various heroes and the people and or groups and so forth. And you can, if you can, of course, log many more cons than pros, then yeah, it pretty much shows that they were an anti-hero, not a hero. But it seems like for someone like Jefferson, the only thing that they could state is that he had some slave women that he was having sex with, and you know, so that overrides I don't know, becoming president, helping to write the Declaration of Independence, the Louisiana Purchase, and a long host of other accomplishments that are linked to classic Americana. But
Black Liberation Party.
She was also a member of the Black Panther Party, right? The Black Panther Party started a free lunch program throughout the country. The Black Panther Party started free health clinics around the country. The Black Panther program taught democracy in our Constitution to communities that didn't have that education. So again, you can have your critiques of this person, but they're critiques of many American heroes that we have. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go back and forth. I have other questions to answer.
This past week, Madam Assata Shakur passed away in Cuba. A former Black Panther and freedom fighter who was unjustly convicted and sought asylum in Cuba in 1979, back when I was 14 years old, and has been on America's Most Wanted FBI list. When Charlie Kirk died, right-wing white supremacists and conservative evangelicals and their political allies, they wept, they prayed, they held him up as a martyr. Matter of fact, the Congress passed a resolution to make October 14th Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. They had no problem grieving over a man who spent his life demeaning Black people, attacking our very humanity, spreading racist lies, and working to strip away our rights. And now when we grieve over a woman who resisted the brutality of the very system that has oppressed us for centuries, they dare to tell us that our grief is illegitimate.
Well, I mean, it is.
There's no fixing this. This can't be fixed. Right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, you know, I have a very low Black population.
Meanwhile, they have no issue elevating racists and bigots to sainthood. We reject the notion that white supremacists get to dictate who we remember and how we grieve. And we're not going to apologize for honoring our heroes, our freedom fighters, and the martyrs of liberation.
what is it that black people need to be liberated from? What is it that we're trying to get away from? I mean, because you could leave, there's a whole continent full of black folk. Nobody's holding you back. But it's really this is why I call it the forevolution, because it's perpetual, it's indefinite, and it doesn't even seem to have like it has no endpoint. It's just supposed to go on and on and on. Like do you guys? I think I know what you want, but they don't want to come out and say it, which is like black folk want to be 85% of America, the way white folk were like 85% of the country at one point. They want to, own America and run America, whatever. And there's two problems. One, you have to actually prove your ability to run your own shit. And then two, you just don't have the numbers. I raised this issue when I was on Keep 'Em 100's channel. And I guess the proposition went over everybody's head. Nobody even wanted to deal in the terms I laid out for them. But they were talking about white nationalism and all that. And so I proposed something to them. And SKC, you're probably of this age bracket, so it applies to you as well. In terms of white nationalism, our country was roughly 86% white when I was born in 81. Now it's closer to like 50-ish, right? 60 maybe. In another 10, 20 years, it might go below that. Now, here's the proposition for Black America. If you suppose that you did not thrive well enough in a country that was dominated by the white American interest, do you suppose that you'll fare well in a country that's dominated by some other group's interest? Do you suppose you'll fare well if it's like 2020, 40, 13? Do you think the numbers are going to work for you at all going forward? And I think it's like a throwing the baby out with the bathwater type of proposition. We were probably going to be fine in an America that was mostly white and had Black America as like the dominant second population. And now we're on the brink of being outpaced both numerically and economically by several other groups like Latinos, Asians, hell, even Africa is competing for the Black American spot now. And I think maybe the white nationalists had an argument, is all I'm saying. But nobody wanted to deal in that territory.
I don't know. I think you're asking too much of the group that you're speaking to. You're talking about forecasting and taking self out of the equation and personal feelings. I think that's a tall order that you that you laid at the feet of the group, in my opinion.
You know what? I was on a different panel, and I remember somebody asked me a question, and I started to say I feel, and then I corrected myself and was like, wait, no, I think. And then I kind of said, because I think, I don't feel. And the guy that I was hosting the panel, I think that was DJ Witch Doctor, he's like, what do you mean you think you don't feel? And I'm like, yes, because thinking and feeling are actually two completely different activities.
Yeah, don't let it rub off on you, Hood. Don't let it rub off. Oh man. Yeah.
But the ability to like do forecasting and projections and sometimes complex projections, even, because when we're talking about racial demographics and social politics and dynamics and whatever going forward, I'm projecting based on now and current trends. And I guess you're right. Maybe I'm asking too much from the current group at hand. But I think it's worth considering, though. God damn it! It was like you're saying something.
Yeah, I was just saying. I think so. I'm not trying to crap on whoever you're speaking with, but I think it's one of those things of I have to lay the blame at you, Hood. Know your audience. There's you know that there are certain groups of people that are not going to be able to deal with those type of projections and so forth. I think you may have to figure out a different way to explain that concept. You know, if you're going to try to go down that road.
Red Illusion makes a great point, and I've felt this way. I've intuitively come to this conclusion without that type of factual backing here. But Red Illusion says blacks and whites in America are ironically closer genetically than half the groups in Africa are to each other. Which I actually, like I said, intuitively have come to that point, because with all just the cultural the cultural interactions and intermixing, along with actual interaction and intermixing, of course, we're basically cousins at this point. I mean, compared to like some dude crawling out of a hut in Gambia or some shit like that, like I'm cousins with the hills of Virginia way more than I am with that nigga. Have way less in common. That nigga might actually want to eat me. I have no idea what to expect from him. You know, and it just is what it is at this point. Black America and white America, for better or worse, we are joined at the hip in this country. But, you know, the liberations, that is what the liberationists ultimately want to be liberated from.
If they can canonize racists, we can celebrate revolutionaries. Let me say that one more time. If they can canonize racists, we can celebrate revolutionaries. If they can sanctify oppressors, we can sanctify our liberators.
Who did Charlie oppress, though? That's the question, right? Did Charlie oppress Assata? Did he lock Joanne up?
Where I was kept in a room, isolated for something like 4 or 5 days. I was beaten, tortured. It was a hellish experience. No one was permitted to see me. My aunt, who is also my lawyer, Evelyn Williams, had to get a court order for her and my mother and my sister to come and see me. I was in prison altogether 6.5 years. I spent more than 2.5 years in solitary confinement. Much of that was in men's prisons. In other words, I was the only woman. Even though they say that there are no political prisoners in the United States, I was kept in solitary confinement, kept in men's prisons because of my political beliefs. So you figure that one out. What it was prison. Prison was,
do you know what her political beliefs were?
It was a new kind.
Communism.
Yeah, I mean, she was part of the BLA. They state that the U.S. is irredeemably racist, that capitalism must die, that the U.S. is an imperialist system. They stated that their goal was to wage an armed struggle against the state, and that they explicitly called for the killing of police officers. And they believed that the police were occupying army in black communities, and that they aligned themselves with enemies of the United States, such as Cuba and so forth. What are we?
She wanted to smoke, right?
But she's saying that her rights were taken away from her. I thought when you're at war with another country, you're not wanting their rights and so forth.
You know, ironically, rights itself are a very European concept. I was explaining this a while ago when we were talking about race versus liberalism. The idea of a war crime in and of itself is an inherently European concept. I don't think that war crime translates well outside of Europe. And so now, on the one hand, you are, at war with the system, and now claiming that the system that you're at war with doesn't want to uphold the rights that you yourself don't even believe in.
Sunday shook, cause ain't no such things as halfway crooks. Scared to death and scared to look, they shook.
In the plantation, I feel like a maroon woman. I feel like an escaped slave, because what I saw in the United States in those prisons was slavery. It was black people with chains in cells. It was just poor people, just stepped on and smashed. I'll never forget what I saw.
You notice her use of "I feel like."
Mm-hmm. Get you every time.
Forget what I've lived through. I'll never forget what my people have lived through.
It's very difficult to reason with people who feel like stuff.
That's why ultimately you can't and you don't. You just take their toys away, spank them, make them take naps and stuff, put them on timeout. That's what jail is, basically. It's like a big timeout for people who can't control their feelings. It really is. We sentence you to 25 years on timeout.
You're wrong, man. I just wonder how you get away with certain things, man, because a little while ago, it was like a guy in your chat. He said that you have less contempt for people than I do, but you'll come around and say something like, "You need to be in timeout for 25 years."
Because really, when you think about it, they say comedy is kind of like finding the humor in the mundane and stuff like that. But life has that kind of stuff built into it. So when you think about what jail is, when you have children and they get out of control and they don't want to behave, you don't want to spank the child. We don't believe in beheadings and lashings and whippings and all that stuff. We don't put people in the stockade anymore. But we have this new thing called timeout, where we just lock you away and we put you just stay there. And then hopefully when we let you out, you get yourself under control and you don't behave the way you used to behave. It obviously doesn't work that way in practice, but that's the theory, is that we put you in timeout and then eventually you'll just be better. And it's the same thing we do with children, because you led me down this line of thinking when we were talking about what do you do with people who don't think and they only feel? You put them in the box.
You can't reason with them. So you have to, I guess, put them in a box.
All right, listen to SpongeBob. Get in.
Yeah. Oh man, there's a comment. I want to get your thought on it. A guy states, I think that's Conscious Moron. He says, "How can you be mad at her? That ish is hard. She bucked the system at a time when the system was against blacks." I think the time when she was convicted for that shooting of the cop, I think that was 77, 78. Was 77, 78 so hard that the system was just against black people? 1977, 1978. Was anybody alive during that time that knows? I'm just wondering.
My mom was alive. She made it.
I'm wondering, where do people get these concepts from? 77, the police were running through black neighborhoods, shooting people and beating them up. at every turn and corner and so forth.
70s was Motown and disco. Yo, yeah, niggas was partying. Black folk was falling in love. I don't understand what conscious moron. I need to ask you a question now that you popped up here and got put on the Summer Jam screen. What does black liberation mean? Specifically, I'm asking, what is it black folk need to be liberated from? Because you're saying that she was bucking the system, right? All right, well, all right, that's one question by itself. What does black people need to be liberated from? And then two, how does her robbing churches and banks and all that, like, how did that help black people? Because Jamal Bowman, he didn't want to answer the question. I don't understand, like, how she helped black people. What was all that bucking? You know, black folk love to buck. Y'all the most buck dancingest niggas ever. But what did all that bucking do for you? Do for anybody? Because, like, outside of, I put it this way: in 1970, whatever, do you imagine she was the only black person in jail for robbery and shooting a cop? Like, really, what makes her that special? Really?
Yeah, I just looked it up. Yeah, it was 77. And I kind of, you know, in my community anthropology studies, I tend to equate and teach in terms of the way that the community learns. So I try to do that in terms of music. So what were some of the top songs out of the black community in 77? Because it gives you a mindset of she's riding down the road in this car, I guess as a passenger or something, and maybe one of the top black R&B songs is on the radio. So when I looked it up, the Commodore's Easy.
The Commodore's Easy.
Easy like Sunday morning. That was the top song in 78.
Easy like Sunday morning. Could you imagine? Sundays must have been really nice back then. There was no cable news.
Bill Withers, Lovely Day.
Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day.
The Bee Gees, Staying Alive.
Staying alive. How hard was life back in 1977 that you needed to go on a bloody revolution? Trying to be liberated from Donna Summer. You trying to get away from Donna Summer. Imagine trying to get away from Donna Summer, bro. You was depressed about Donna Summer, bro. Love the baby. I can't even do the voice though.
Brick House was out in 77.
Brick House.
But she was saying, but Conscious Moron is stating that at this time, black people were just running from the police, and there was a police state in all the neighborhoods.
Jamming they was jamming with Bob Marley in 1977, for God's sake, bro. Was it really that bad? Come on, man. Like, what did you niggas need to be liberated from that was so terrible?
So I don't know, man. It just, I really don't believe that it was so hard with the police in 1977 for black people. I think the video is silent.
You can't hear the video?
Uh-uh.
Oh, let me try that over. Did you guys in the audience? Could you guys in the audience hear the video? 'Cause every now and then the audio does drop.
Why you get that together, man? What was on TV during 77 that was tops? Happy Days, Three's Company, The Incredible Hulk, and Chips. I mean, come on.
What was Black TV? What was on Black TV? What's Happening?
Yeah.
What else would have been on? Was Good Times around in 1977?
I don't know.
The Dukes of Hazzard was on.
Oh my goodness, man.
Knight Rider was out in 1977? Nah, that was an 80s thing.
I thought it was an 80s thing. I don't remember.
Oh, let's see. Can you hear this now? There's still no sound?
Yeah, I can't hear it, but maybe the audience can. If they can, let it go.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. There is no sound on that. I don't know what's going on there. All right, let's drop that. Let's reset that whole.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I think a lot of times people have been told these stories for so long and they've repeated them so often that they have in various ways, I guess, romanticized how Black people were living in, the 70s and 80s and so forth.
How about now, SKC?
Nope, not a peep.
That's amazing. What's going on with my audio here? Let me see. Is it just that clip though?
But can you hear it?
Shakur,
Yeah, I can hear it all. Can you hear this guy?
Murderer.
Yeah.
In a U.S. prison.
Wow. It's just that one Brandon Johnson clip. That is amazing. Let me see if I can find another copy of that clip. Maybe it's something wrong with that particular window.
So while Lovely, in my mind, how I have it, Hood, is while Lovely Day was playing, Assata Shakur was involved in a shooting of a cop. They were rolling down the road, and for some reason, they got into a shootout with a police officer while she was part of a group called the BLA, whose expressed opinion was that cops need to be killed.
A lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day.
She could have been at home, watching Happy Days or something like that on Three's Company. But whatever she was doing, she wanted to be involved in liberating Black people against a mythical police, a group that was controlling Black America and oppressing them.
You can hear this one?
Nah. I hear
Get out of here. Nobody has audio?
I don't hear. Go to the audio on the clip itself. Sometimes.
No, because I can hear it playing.
Oh.
Wow.
Madam Assata Shakur passed away in Cuba.
What the hell? This is the strangest
former Black
phenomenon.
Panther and freedom fighter who was unjustly convicted.
Wow. How does it not want to play Brandon Johnson's audio? It's like a CIA conspiracy right now.
Oh, but that's the one about the Chicago's teachers union basically giving
Right.
praise to a shot of, and that's crazy. A teachers union giving praise to a person that basically stated that the US needed to be overturned. Okay.
And the same teachers union that would have never given any acknowledgement to Charlie Kirk's death, right? They would have felt, they probably all, almost everyone feel individually like F that guy, right? But Assata Shakur is a hero.
LC has said the teachers union is part of the revolution. and in ways he's right.
Yeah,
in ways he's right. Yeah.
You don't even have to take a lot of effort to put it together. You don't need that crazy guy's conspiracy whiteboard where all the lines connecting. Like, the teachers union is a direct pipeline into like radical left-wing thought. And it goes directly from elementary school all the way into the college level. It's like a whole universe of just left-wing environments where you're just constantly fed basic ideas of, why this is right and why that's right. But it's very emotional. This is why I had to do that whole stream about, I'm right because I'm right. Because I realized the left-wing position isn't really built on anything. That's why we had that little moment a second ago about thinking versus feeling. The left-wing position is a series of feelings linked to one another. This is why you have like the gays and the Palestinians. I mean, the gays and the people that support Palestine on the same side, as if you could be gay in Palestine, right? But when you attach a series of feelings to one another, you don't really need logic to form proper links in the chain.
Nope, not at all. I don't know. In that, and I've been playing around with this hood, but definitions have changed so much between what Black people think a definition is than what it is defined in in standard dictionaries. I don't, in a lot of the conversations that take place, I don't think that you guys are actually talking about the same thing while using the same words.
Well, this is why I kind of do that whole thing of probing what people mean before I even attempt to answer questions, because I realize oftentimes it's like a trap laid out for you where you ask me, well, what do you think about such and such thing? And I'm like, well, what do you mean when you say this? It's like the whole Jordan Peterson thing. It is a very effective debate strategy, because it's not that I don't or I'm unwilling to answer a particular question, but I want to know before I go forward, what do you mean when you say is, right? Like, I need you to be very specific.
Yes, and that's the, I guess what I'm getting at is that what I've seen and heard is it seems as though when you're listening to people on various panels and they're going back and forth and it's almost like there's this translation that's happening in real time where the same words are coming out of their mouths, but the meanings of them are diametrically opposed.
Hey, and shout out to Deacon Dave. Shout out to Deacon Dave with the $2 super chat. The link is in the chat, by the way, if anybody else wants to come up. We're going to keep this panel open a little bit longer. Not forever, though, briefly. But the link is in the chat.
For instance, I don't think people mean the same thing when they use the word logic.
Well, I actually had to take a logic class in high school long time ago. And so I have just a structured approach to it that I was trained into. And I can tell that not everyone has had the benefit of such training. And then there's a meme going around a while ago. Forgot what movie it was from, but it was like, you keep saying this word, and I do not think it means what you think it means.
Yes.
Was that Billy Madison?
No, it's an old movie. It's like some old Robin Hood Men in Tights type of movie. The Princess Bride. Thank you. Yeah.
Man, that's a classic. I hope they never try to redo that.
I don't think I've ever actually watched it. I've just seen like that little clip.
Is that the one with John Cleese?
It might be. I don't know. Let me ask you a question, Mr.
Go ahead.
What do you think about this idea of black heroes? And stop trying to get me to watch chick flicks. What do you think about this idea of black heroes, Mr. O? This idea that there is no proper concept of heroism in Black America. At least not a lot of examples of it. We have this perverted idea of black heroes.
Well, the only black heroes I actually acknowledge in the black community was Meteor Man, Blank Man. What was on Shaquille O'Neal's? Not Kazam. What was Steel? Of course, Wesley Snipes kicked it off with the Marvel universe. So shout out to Blade. Them are the only black heroes that I actually recognize in the community. All the other ones is just either young naive people who don't want to work, and arrested, developed midlifers who want to posturize themselves like they're prophets and know-it-alls, but pretty much ain't got a clue and can't work themselves out of a wet paper bag.
Let's follow this thread a little bit with Hollywood. The superhero thing kind of came along at a time, in the 80s, 90s, definitely. But what black heroes do you think you could point to before those? Because the superhero genre is a thing unto itself. But before that or outside of that, what else could you point to?
Now we talking about like actual like black leaders that could be held as leaders.
Well, you go where you want to go with it.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's just enjoy the moment for a minute. And it's really weird. That's why I wanted to actually like expand it and have other people's take on this, because I don't want to just be pontificating.
Okay.
But you really started out with superheroes and then said fuck.
The frustration was real.
Oh, yeah. There's powerful niggardry at work here.
Bro, it really is true, though. We don't really have like a proper concept of heroism or heroes.
All right. I got two. Well, one and a possible. Now,
let me start before you jump in. I'm going to make a prediction. Fighting racism or fighting the man or the system in some type of way. All right, name your two.
Okay. First is the actual person that I consider a hero is by a man by the name of Robert Smalls. He was a slave who basically commandeered a ship, aka stole a ship, a Navy ship on top of that, you know what I'm saying? And not only took his people from the south all up to the north to freedom, he did a double back to grab some more people on the same damn Navy ship and brought some more people while being a 16-year-old slave. Now that's a hero. Now that's a black hero.
Now, I'm not denying his heroism whatsoever, but it's literally a story that is rooted and grounded in the fucking texture of the entire universe of the hero is slavery.
I mean, every hero has a journey.
Am I not making my point though? Do you see the point reveal itself in front of us all in real time?
Okay, then my honorable mention is Mr. Malcolm X. The only caveat was that
you said before 1940.
Well, I didn't even say before 1940. My only two predictions before you laid it out was going to be fighting racism or fighting the system or oppression in some type of way. Now he went right back to like slavery, which is a little bit out of the box, but still like you're fighting goddamn slavery, bro. Like, how am I wrong?
I mean,
I think the hero of the black community should be Anthony Johnson.
slave master. Like black folks' entire identity is wrapped
That's
up
a
in
hero right there.
slavery.
He got away from his oppression and then oppressed people.
I
What's
get
not
it.
more heroic than that?
That was my honorable mention. Thank you. Now can I have three? Can I have three? Since he already took my honorable mention.
You can have it, bro. I'm just like I'm
Okay,
trying not
so
to-
Robert Smalls, Anthony Johnson, shout out to Anthony Johnson, and Malcolm X. The reason why I'm only giving Malcolm partially because as much as he can control the mosque and so-called the image of the so-called black man, he still couldn't put his foot down on that black bitch Betty Shabazz, and she was out here breaking bad, cheating and shit. So I want to give him a halfway mention.
Oh wow, you throwing some dirt on Betty. I didn't even know that. Okay, but no, the thing
Betty
is,
was a hoe.
Okay. I'm not fighting with you right now. The thing is though, my observation has been for a while now that
And Jack Johnson. So it's for Jack Johnson.
black folks' entire identity is grounded in slavery and oppression. Therefore, the white man is always casted as essentially our devil to overcome. The white man is our ultimate struggle. And so I think it's a very hurtful. It doesn't really propel you to the heights you need to be, that your struggle is just like some guy. Because like for other groups, their cosmic struggle is literally like overcoming the gods. Like I'm Perseus, you know what I mean? I'm Odysseus on a great journey, voyaging across strange lands, you know what I mean? And there is no black Iliad. If there was, it would be like a nigga running from the plantation and going on a strange adventure and running from strange white people on the way.
That's what I was saying earlier, Hood. I don't think that the concept is baked into the culture at all. And the more that the culture fights against anything that's quote unquote white, the more they fight against basic concepts of heroism. Some time ago, you remember the movie Troy?
Yeah, Todd City, you can prove me wrong at any time. I still have time left. You can prove me wrong. I'm welcome to debate. I'm open to be proven wrong.
Yeah, and it's of course it's based upon Homer's Iliad, Battle of Troy and all that stuff. But one of the highlights of that entire story the beginning of it with Achilles, it's not all of the great things that he can do on the battlefield, but when he gives Priam's son back to Priam and he honors him after he killed him, Hector.
With 2 weeks of funeral games?
Yeah. So,
what I find interesting though, SKC, is
go ahead.
When Mr. O was listing off black heroes, I didn't hear Larry Elder's name or Ben Carson's name or Jesse Lee Peterson's name. I don't understand why they aren't considered black heroes.
They're like white men.
They're Oreos. They're basically white men with black face.
See?
Another thing.
But I'm just saying that they're literally successful. What's the one guy who ran FUBU? What's his name?
Draymond John. Draymond John. That's his name.
There's all kinds of people that I could think of that the black community could use as, up to date heroes. But why do you choose not to pick the people that have went out and been successful and try and, emulate the course or the path that they took to get to where they are, rather than, Little Dirk or fucking, whoever else it is that, whatever new YN it is you want to. I don't get it.
Hey, leave my homeboy Dirk out of this, man. Y'all don't know Dirk. Dirk was my homie, you know what I'm saying? Still is my homie, you know what I'm saying? Free Dirk, man. Yo, he's a good guy. He just got a bad reputation, but he's a good guy.
Man, this is funny because I'm looking in the chat and I'm seeing Ty make his comments, and I'm just thinking about some of the comments that will come from the places that you enjoy to be around, Ty. Like, take for instance, when you say Benjamin Davis led the Tuskegee Airmen, wouldn't the group state, "Oh, that's another dude that fought in that white man's army. Like, what are we talking about? So like, I don't think that you can really uplift the people that you can try to uplift, because you know that the majority are not going to view those people as any sort of hero.
Well, of course not. Not when you got people that make comments like Massa only let a few raccoons in the big house. What are you talking about? Maybe those are the only people that actually, went out and tried to achieve something bigger than themselves. You know, if you spend your whole life saying Massa only let, Massa only do, Massa only, Massa, how the fuck you going to get anywhere in life?
And I think there's one more thing.
How you letting someone be your Massa and not be your own Massa?
Before Hood plays
like Anthony Johnson,
this classic Soldier Story clip, I think there's another point of contention with all of it, is that a lot of times a boy's first hero is his dad.
That too. My dad was my hero till he wasn't.
Save.
I pulled up this clip from a Soldier Story here, and it seems like this tension has always been here between different elements of Black America. Sergeant Waters was a great encapsulation of that tension between the push and pull between the I guess the lower culture of Black America.
And what kind of colored man are you?
I'm a soldier, Peterson. And the kind of colored man that don't like lazy, shiftless Negroes.
Well, sir, you ain't got to come in here calling us names.
The Nazis called you Schwarzer. You gonna complain to Hitler they hurt your little feelings?
It don't look like to me we could do too much to them Nazis with paintbrushes, sir.
God damn.
You can't make this shit up.
But it was great. It was great. This is
why you only want to be a painter in the military? Why don't you want to go out and do something more?
Well, no, I don't even think it was just that, because they probably wouldn't even let him paint. I mean, they wouldn't let him do nothing but paint probably at first anyway. But the point of, I think, what he was trying, the whole point of that little tension was you niggas trying to basically nigger up the military, but it's no, you can't do the Black thing. What kind of colored man are you is an irrelevant question once you put the uniform on. Because you worried about feelings and shit like that. And it's no, listen, you can worry about your Blackness, or you can be a soldier and go do the job.
You trying to mock me, CJ?
No, sir, Sarge.
Good. Because whatever an ignorant, low-class Geechee like you has to say ain't worth paying attention to. Is it? Is it?
You know, I realized playing this over, he was effectively a white man in this role.
Yeah, I think he may have been whiter than me.
Right, Denzel looking at him like a traitor right now.
I reckon not, Sarge.
You are.
That's that look that you give a nigga when you don't want to get lynched. He looking at him like he's the guy that lynched people. Damn near white. I told you. But that's the tension, though. It's if you move too far away from that, that culture, that just blackety black bullshit, you automatically become white. And it just so happened he happened to be a light-skinned nigga too on top of that. So all the tension got built up into this one perfect character. And yeah, we all know it's fiction, bro. I hear you, Ty City. It's all fiction, but still, they were making a point that is relevant.
Creep, Waters.
Sarge, just joking, P. He don't mean no harm.
No, he does. I mean, we're taking up from them white boys.
Yes, you do. And if it wasn't for you southern niggas, white folks wouldn't think we was all fools.
Well, where are you from? England?
Oh shit, that's David Allen Greer.
Yeah.
They had a lot of the greats in this movie. So where you from? England?
They all look the same to me.
Oh, shut up.
Okay. Looks like we got us a wise ass Alabama boy here. Yes, sir. Now don't you get smart, nigga.
Get your fucking hands off me.
How many times have Denzel said that line?
Your
At
hand
least
out my
3
pocket.
times in every movie.
You wanna hit old Sergeant Waters, boy? Come on. Please. Come on, nigga.
Tail top. At ease.
God damn. White man came in, made him behave. Ain't that about a bitch? I wanted to see him fight.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Look how orderly they got, like instantly too, as soon as the white guy walked in the room.
A little military training. You know what it kind of I was thinking about too? And it is way non sequitur, but like when you think about like Chicago and where are they at? Memphis now. They were in DC at first, right? I don't think you can pacify the black communities easily. Like you're gonna have to put like the boot down on a lot of places, man.
Hey, and I may not be that white guy, Pastor, but I can dream. I can dream.
I don't know. I agree. I think some animals require bigger sticks than others.
That just sounds like some old country wisdom.
I mean, oh, didn't they start sending people to Chicago?
The National Guard didn't go to Chicago, but they got like a lot of ICE. They all, you know, if you put enough gear on, all soldiers look alike. So it doesn't matter if it's ICE, the National Guard, the goddamn CIA. They're there though. They could be Marines for all we know.
Oh, okay. So I guess they are outside.
Yeah, they're in the street. They're patrolling, making a nice it's a show of force. Plus, they're locking up illegals, though. They're not quite doing the DC thing where they're like, you know, checkpoints and aggressive traffic stops and stuff like that. But they're out there just showing a show of force, and I think they're probably mostly in like the safer, whiter neighborhoods, so people can eat outside and shop and you know, get the economic activity back up. That's my guess. I don't know for a fact.
So I see that they're in Portland as well, and it looks like they're going to Memphis this week as well.
Well, Portland is a different situation because they've remember during the BLM riots where they had like an ICE facility under siege. They tried that again, and now he's like, "We're just going to shoot you in the face." And so
That seems to be a reoccurring thing in Oregon.
yeah, they're literally shooting people in the face with pepper balls. There's great shit going on right now.
Yeah, it's a big Antifa thing going on over there, so that's a wholly different scenario.
Man, I was reading this. I've been reading a lot of comparative slavery literature, and I didn't know that there were these Indians on like in the Portland, Seattle, like West Coast area that were involved in hardcore slavery for, I mean, they don't know how long, way before, you know, Europeans came and so forth. But even after the U.S. was created and so forth, and the march to the West happened, they were still involved in this hardcore Indian slave trade that was going on. It was like this super chattel everything, and they had to sign treaties about it and all that.
You know, isn't the word chattel slavery a bit?
It's a misnomer.
Well, it's a non-word. It's a nonsensical word. Like, what slavery is not chattel slavery?
It all is.
It all is. Even your European, the Roman slavery back in the day in the Colosseum. Any child that was born to a mother that was in slavery was automatically enslaved.
Yep.
Yeah, they just used it to try to make African American slavery as unique in some sort of
I've been researching that whole Roman slavery thing, and I've been looking at other slavery, with the Arabs and everything. I hate to say it like this, but I'm glad I was an American slave. Well, my ancestors was American slaves, because what they still dealing with the Arabs. They still, y'all black folks, y'all like to go ahead and talk about slavery. You do know that the Arab slave trade is still going in effect, right? Right. And then when I look at the Romans, man, they was, like you said, the Colosseum. It was a whole bunch of other stuff I can't even say on Hood's podcast, but trust me, I'd rather been a slave in that time period versus the Roman time period. But go ahead.
Well, the thing about I agree with you, but I'm just looking at Ty's comment. What major religion was slavery not co-signed by?
I can't think of one.
So I mean, it's like,
was it the Buddhists? The Buddhists? What the Buddhists support slavery?
Yeah. So, I mean,
Everybody was doing slaving back in the day, man. Slavery was the shit back in the day, bro.
What are you talking about? Everybody's still doing slaving right now, except for what would be considered Western culture.
So I don't know when people make comments like that, you're not making you're trying to point out one specific group when slavery has been a part of humanity.
I mean, the national anthem of the entire world for like 1,000 years was basically, "You're down with slavery? Yeah, you know me. You're down with slavery? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with slavery? Yeah, you know me." Like, that's basically what we did everywhere around the world.
That sounded like some Sister Act 2 shit right there you just did.
That was Naughty by Nature.
I know. Didn't they redo a Naughty by Nature song in that movie? Didn't they turn OPP down with God?
They probably did.
They did.
This goddamn infiltrator up here trying to tell me about black culture. You hear this bullshit? Up here quoting Sister Act on me. Don't be telling me about black shit.
You teach me all my life that the white man is the devil? You teach me my whole life that the white man is the devil. Now you tell me it's all right for him to come among us.
You know something, Snowman? I've found that within Das Communitas a lot. I'm not saying it doesn't exist in other places, but I found it a lot in Das Communitas where it could be a song that is very negative and has a lot of, eat, sleep, fight, bust things in it. But in order to pass it down to the next generation, they'll make some small change of it. But everybody who is singing it that is older knows the connotation of where it comes from.
You know, my favorite, and this is such a funny thing. My favorite example of that, they literally monetized it and commercialized it, bro. They have Kids Bop.
Yeah,
they got whole albums where they kidify popular songs and shit.
I shit you not, man. When me and the wife were still living in Ohio, we lived right on the main drag of town where they had a bunch of like festivals and stuff, and they had this Christian music festival that came in for a weekend, and I shit you not, one of the covers they did was AC/DC's Highway to Hell, but they were singing Highway to Heaven instead. So even the crackers do the same shit, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's some crazy stuff, man. It's almost like giving someone a gateway drug.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. This is why I was
Here,
saying,
just
like,
take
I
a
kind
sip.
of,
Just take a sip of this knockoff stuff, man. It won't hit you as hard as the real shit.
I've become like weirdly conscious about the music I listened to over the last couple of years. That's why I just stopped listening to a lot of music, because I realized how trash most of it was. Not even just on a musical, a company, like just composition level or whatever. But when I listen to what they're talking about, I'm like, I don't want
These
to.
blacks. Just say these blacks.
Like I'm driving to work. It is 5 o'clock in the morning. It's actually nice out. I do not want murder on my mind. I really don't, actually. I got to pay this bill. Car made a funny noise when I started it up and shit. The last thing I want is murder on my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, the white version of that is white men listen to speed metal on the way to work. You know what I'm saying? Just as violent, repetitive, yelling and everything. So they got their own problems too. Ain't that right, Angry Snowman?
Says Seal and Sade.
Oh, absolutely.
That's such a weird That's a weird duo right there.
I loved listening to 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, and Korn on the way to work. Always got me pumped.
I like rock. I do, but I don't do metal. 80s hair bands are about as close as I'll get to actual metal.
None of the bands I just named were hair bands.
Yeah, that's what I know. I know. You went way far. 9 Inch Nails and all that shit. No, I just can't.
Yeah, I was into White Zombie, Tool.
No.
Are you into Mudvayne? Are you into Mudvayne, Mr. Snowman?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, alternative rock. I'll do some alternative rock.
I have a question, Snowman.
Slipknot.
For the people that did they tend to imitate the band's aesthetics that they listen to?
Only if it was like the only time you'd see that I ever witnessed is if it was like a cover band that was, sticking strictly to a band they were covering. You know what I'm saying?
I'm talking about just like people in general, that the fans that listen to certain music or whatever. Did they attempt
Uncut Underground, he is right about that. The punk rockers, they were crazy, dude. They did actually emulate a lot of the bands that they listened to. They were nuts. They were lunatics.
Like Sid.
That's where a lot of like the Mohawk culture and shit like that came from, where you saw the guys walking around with, foot tall fucking Liberty spikes on their heads and shit.
No,
right.
what got me?
I was talking about the guys that you know.
Yeah, no, I know guys like that.
Like personally, like
I know guys like that.
Like Sid Vicious, the only creepy thing about them white boys with the colorful high 7
The other
inch,
thing, I knew people that like they would imitate like wrestlers and shit like that. If you want to consider that part of like the rock and roll,
that too.
Hip-hop culture.
I mean, SKC, aren't you aware that juggalos are like an entire?
Oh yeah, dude, I forgot about the juggalos.
Like how far white folk are willing to go for their music, bro.
Juggalos were actually deemed by the FBI as a gang too.
Right. White people will throw it all away to join a musical cult. All right. There's something weird about that shit, but
you know what? You know what's crazy? I used to be a juggalo when I was younger. Back in the day, I used to dress up, wear the face paint and all that shit.
I knew it.
I look down on you now forever.
Dude, my very first tattoo was the Great Malenko on my back shoulder.
I don't even know what that is.
Me either.
That's their third Joker card.
So Snowman, you wake up one. Let's say you go back into that time. You wake up in the morning. You get up to go to the store. You were dressed like a juggalo.
No, I wouldn't put on face paint and shit to go to the store.
Okay,
no, I wouldn't do that.
So this is kind of like what I'm talking about.
But no, what I'm saying, I would. There were certain occasions I put face paint and shit on. Another example would be like,
why not everywhere?
Let's see, another example that I could give you is the what do they call them? The people that followed Jerry Garcia, Deadheads. Deadheads are a prime example of people that emulate, hippie culture and that kind of music. And I know quite a few Deadheads personally, and they all stink. They all are hairy. They all have fucking nasty ass nappy dreads.
Yeah,
we're kind of like picking on white culture in a sense, but I think it's really a human phenomenon of like mass media, and this is why people study mass media and they perfect it and craft it so much, because like the reason why I was even talking about white music the other day, and I was just sort of just going off on a riff, but I find white music has a much wider variety of human expression.
Stop. Get out of there.
No, I'm going further. I'm going all the way there.
Get out of there.
Because, and this is the thing, this is why black music does not really allow for the wide, because black culture itself doesn't allow for the wide variety of human expression. So that's why like black kids who find themselves a little bit outside, they go goth or some shit like that. It'd be that one odd black guy that's at the rock concert and shit like that. Because like it's hard to maintain your quote unquote blackness and want to be a part of that other world too.
Just like anime hood. Are you talking about just like anime?
Yeah. When I was on Hunted's panel the other day, they played this video about some kid who, and it's a video going viral. It's a new video, but like some kid who's talking about being outside of the black culture and feeling at odds with it and all that. But I think he's on to something there where like there is a rigidity to the bounds of black culture. Like you just can't be black and like certain other shit too.
Well, I understand the outcast of being black, and I'm black.
Are you trying to tell me, Hood, that you wouldn't find like a Foo Fighter song like Hero that's honoring the common man in black music?
I mentioned Tracy Chapman the other day.
That's a good song too, by the way. That's Casey.
Tracy Chapman, Foo Fighter. Tracy Chapman's Fast Car was a huge hit unto itself, right? I would argue she probably has a lot more white fans than she does black, because the song itself was effectively a white people's escaping heartland, small town America type of song. Now I can relate to that because I've lived in that kind of place before.
That give me one reason was a good Tracy Chapman song too.
Well, and the point I'm going to is where he was talking about like just honoring the common man. Like what was that? Leonard Skinner, Let Him Be a Simple Man.
Simple Man.
And I like there's a more modern version of it. That's when I first heard it. But I like the idea of it.
Yeah,
Shine Down. Thank you so much. Shine Down. They did that, right? There isn't that much when it comes to like popular black music. And listen, Uncut, don't throw accusations at me like I control the radio, bro. when we're talking about what's actually out there in popular black culture, you have a narrow range of expressions. It is what it is. I don't make the music, man. I don't control the fucking selection on cable news and cable channels and shit.
Yeah, don't forget about Bruce Springsteen, man. When you're adding that, born in the USA, that was a big one.
I Need a Dollar.
You don't even control what black people themselves honor and celebrate at their award shows or what they write about in their magazines and so forth. Those songs aren't high on the totem pole in Black America.
I bet you I Need a Dollar is played more by white people than black people.
Come on, share your dollar, give me your dollar, share your dollar with me. Come on.
A reproductive boost through a kind of
These blacks ain't got no culture. I mean, look what happened to the hip hop awards. For Christ's sake, they let Fat Joe host the hip hop awards. Now we don't have a hip hop awards no more. Blacks don't want no culture. We don't have one.
And Uncut, I'll give you that, and that's a relatively modern song, but that is one of the few examples of that, right? And so that does have to get counted, but it's a drop against an ocean. And I mean, if you think about it, There are a handful of black people who have a handful of songs that are like, you know, not a love song or not a what do you call it? You know, flexing on niggas, rap songs, some violent shit. There are a handful of songs out there, but the vast majority of it is kind of a narrow expression.
It's only a handful though, Hood. Like literally, 5 fingers worth of like them type of songs. Just name one, and I guarantee you, it probably won't be it.
Like even within rap, one of my favorite rap songs is actually "Passing Me By." Because yeah, the Far Side, right? Because it's a thing of when you're a kid, when you're a young boy. I think almost every young boy has had at least one teacher he kind of like a female teacher that he had some kind of crush on. I still remember my teacher, Miss Everett. Broke my heart when she said she was getting married, and her name is Miss Young now. Like, you see, I still remember that moment of like 4th grade or whatever, this all these years later, right? Because she keep on passing me by. And it was such a like a touchstone. It wasn't even about love per se. It was about a moment in time in your life when you're, you know, you got that stupid thing going on as a boy. And even within rap, there are very few songs like that within rap that are just like capture a moment of life. You said all of J. Cole music is the average black. Well, maybe I don't listen to J. Cole. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why nobody likes J. Cole.
But
nah, they don't. They don't. They do like J. Cole, bro. They don't like J. Cole because of some stuff that happened within rap music. He was supposed to be fighting for the best, and he folded like a little bitch. That's why everybody don't like him no more.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but still though, y'all don't like J. Cole, but y'all listen to Drake.
Yeah, which Drake is oddly enough, he kind of there's nothing regular life about Drake. Like even a long time ago, Backpack Drake maybe was a little bit different, but nah, I just. I can't shake
the problem that I'm having with what you're saying, Hood, is that you don't listen to any rap music. You really don't. I would imagine you really don't even listen to a lot of modern music, period.
Well,
that's the kind of problem I'm hearing.
We stopped listening to a lot of modern rap. I would argue probably in the last 5 years I've become out of the loop in rap.
Yeah, and there's also the way I really don't like the mainstream argument because, and maybe it's just the way that I'm living, like, and the people around me. Most people don't listen to the radio, don't listen to music on TV. Like, you get in your car and you have your own crafted playlist. You play what you want. If there's not music out there that you don't know, like you look for the music that you want. You can pick the music that you want. It's not like it's on the radio where you just had to listen to everything that was just given to you.
Well, all right. So what are the biggest rap artists right now as far as like, I don't know, audience interaction or sales or whatever? Like, who's the hot guy?
Well, a lot of the newer music. You got music like Yeet. You got music like a lot of that party kind of Travis Scottish kind of drug music, like that kind of thing. You have like your activist music, kind of like Kendrick. You have like the luxury music, kind of like Drake. Like there's different classifications of rap music that you could just listen to now. All different kinds of music.
I could see that just because of the multiple different genres of rock and roll and metal that there are.
As a matter of fact, rock is kind of having an issue now because they've boxed themselves into such, you know, the whole, it's kind of like with rap music where every generation changes and it's like, that's not real rap music. The same thing happened with rock music. And you know how that panned out, Snowman.
That's like, a fact. I've stopped listening to rock music back in like 2012, 2013 because it all sucked.
It sucked, bruh. It sucked. You know, so every group got their music, man. White folks got a lot of violent, sad music. I was in an argument with my wife about that, like on a car ride. We were having like a interesting kind of debate about which group makes the saddest music. And that was a fun conversation, but
you want to hear a violent rock song, play Lunchbox by Marilyn Manson.
Right. The idea that they don't have violent music is crazy. It's just my whole position is that they just have a much wider range of different types of music. Like, so like even when you're talking about like black music, it still kind of sounds like all under a similar umbrella though.
Yeah, that's the idea that I get, and I don't know. I think because of working and being around other circles, I do tend to make some statements about rap that are, I would say, outside of the modern loop, because I don't know any of it. Y'all were mentioning some dude, I don't even know who that was, and apparently Ty is stating that he's some sort of top artist or something like that. But in the same vein, I think that a lot of there's many people from within Das Community that hold on to this idea that rap is like so pervasive and well known and growing throughout the entire globe, and it's just this like every person on planet Earth has some great fascination with rap, and I think that they are way off with that, because I deal with people every day that it's like they don't even listen to rap.
Like, it's so funny. You know what I really gotten into recently? And I like old music, and sometimes like there's old songs that everybody knows and I just kind of listen to for the first time. I found Stairway to Heaven. I don't know why I clicked on it the other day. Like a week ago, I just clicked on Stairway to Heaven and I started listening to that shit. And I was like, holy shit, this is a great song. Like every element of it was just dope.
Now you understand why they ban musicians playing that song in music stores, though.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit long, but
no, it's because it's such a great song. They don't want to hear people fuck it up.
No, I get that. It is a great song, and it's like I get why it's a classic song. But when you start talking,
did you know Led Zeppelin's roots are in blues music?
I could believe that. I mean, that's the progression of music in America. But when the thing I was thinking about, right, is like when it comes to rap in and of itself doesn't produce a lot of like timeless hits anymore, if it ever did.
What are you talking about? Hit 'Em Up is a classic, dude.
Hit 'Em Up is timeless. First
off, absolutely, dude. That's going to live through the test of time. You watch and see.
No way.
Yeah, you bugging, bro. You bugging.
There is no. It's timeless to you guys. Awkward pause there. Like, what's a timeless hip hop song? Outside of Will Smith's "Summertime," I'm really drawing a blank here. You can play "Summertime" on June 1st every year.
What about "Today Is Going to Be a Great Day" by Ice Cube?
"California Love" is timeless.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't.
You know, Dear Mama. Dear Mama is timeless.
Maybe
Jesus,
Dear
that
Mama
gets played every Mother's Day.
You could almost do Dear Mama.
Cream, nothing but a G thing. Like I think okay. All of that '90s gangster rap is timeless, bro. And I'm gonna tell you why it's timeless, because during a time of rebellion, when rock was the primary tool of rebellion for the majority of culture, when NWA came out, that changed all of that shit. All of it.
You don't think "Crossroads" by Bone is timeless?
No.
It's a nice entry though.
I'm trying to help your cause, man.
Disagreement on a cultural level, because I'm just coming, and this is a personal opinion. I'm not even going to stand on some intellectual point here, but I feel as though, because this is deeply feel. I don't think I have this is very subjective, right? rap just doesn't come across as timeless music anymore. Like I listen to old music, and it doesn't really. There's not a lot of rap songs that strike the kind of emotional and cultural vibes that a lot of other older songs.
What about Bling Bling? What about Bling Bling? You know, Bling Bling got put into the Oxford Dictionary. I mean, that's a culture impact.
That was Oxford being woke.
Just a question real quick, and I know this is just a question for just this purpose. That's it. You know, a lot of times take for instance when Marvel was in its great heyday and so forth, and then they would use some of those songs that would kind of like galvanize all of the people.
Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack
and so forth. You know,
Dude,
same
that
thing with
soundtrack,
like
dude, the
you
first-
remember when you know, Thor did his thing, and what do you hear? You hear like some Zeppelin or something like that, right? What would have been a rap song that
yeah,
could
that
have
was
been
the immigrant
played?
song they played, by the way.
What would have been a rap song that they could have played in Marvel?
Right.
It had nothing to do with Black Panther. That would have been timeless.
Did they even play a lot of rap songs in Iron Keisha in her little TV show?
Not that I saw. I could only stomach like maybe 1.5 episodes, though.
I watched all of them, but I'm looking back, I don't really recall if they used a lot, because they might use a few hip hop beats as they switch from one scene. It's like a cut in of Chicago and a shot of a building, and then they go inside and do the talking. But I'm trying to think about it. Like, did they
Dude,
even use a lot of black
I'm with
beats?
the chat on this one. I
right.
think DMX could have probably fit in there.
For a
You don't know who Iron Keisha is? The black girl with the Iron Man suit? They had a whole show about Iron Keisha. Riri. Her name Riri.
That was crazy too.
It was so fucked
How
up.
you name your main character retarded?
She was
supposed to
evil
be a
and
genius.
retarded, bro.
She's a genius named Riri.
And she was smart though. But she was born to be a villain, bro. She was a retarded genius.
Yeah, the Run DMC and Aerosmith
Walk
collab
This
this way. That could be considered timeless.
Right, but even the part that you would use would be the guitar riff, though. And you know why? Because there's something about the production of hip hop itself that you cannot capture when it comes to like comparing a live band to like playing a preset track. Because that's what rap at its base, you have to have the preset track already in. Whereas like when it comes to like Zeppelin and Aerosmith and the great bands back in the day, it was really like a dude on the drums or a dude on the guitar, and he just put his heart into it for 45 seconds. And that's what made classic music classic, right? And it's hard to replicate that with some shit that literally comes out of a computer and then you say words over it. Like the Roots having a live band is revolutionary because they're a band. They're not a rap group. They're a band with a lead singer who just raps all the time.
Like Limp Bizkit?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. I don't ever want to compare the Roots to Limp Bizkit, but
It'd be more like a closer comparison would be more like Linkin Park, because they have a live band and they do a lot of they actually do a lot of rapping in their music.
Nah, facts. They are essentially a band, right? And you know, and then I keep seeing Lupe in the chat. I like Lupe. Every now and then I'll play Battle Scars because I like that one song. I mean, I like a lot of Lupe songs actually. That whole Food and Liquor album was dope. Like the Cool, that shit was dope. But
Rage Against the Machine, that's another one.
When it comes to like just epic timeless sounds, we don't get. I just don't know if we get a lot of it in hip hop. Like it's very like, what's the word for it? Easily consumed and then easily forgotten.
What about that Pete Rock and CL Smooth song that Reminisce Over You?
Again, that's a jazz cut.
Right. The
Well,
thing
isn't
about it
hip
that
hop
we
just
loved the most was the horns that was stolen from somebody else.
well, isn't hip hop just a hybrid of Motown anyhow?
No, it's a microcosm of things. So you and rap music, you got blues, you got funk, you got soul mainly, and I say that you got a little jazz in there. I mean, we did have a whole little jazz time period, you know, with Gangstar and a whole bunch of them, you know, with the horns and the saxophone. So hip hop is really a whole bunch of things just meshed into one, mainly through the MP. What was that that beat making machine, that Akai, anything that came out that Akai, that sampler, that's hip hop.
That MPK.
Yep.
Look. All right. Uncut Underground says, "Play Back That Ass Up. Everybody gonna move." Yeah. Niggas gonna dance. Asses will shake, right? But are you considering that timeless, right? Like you know a song that I listen to, Mariah Carey, I Can't Live or something like that. How it starts out, oh, I can't forget this evening on your face as you were leaving, right? That is like a timeless classic love song, right? I can't live if living is without you, right? I don't know if Back That Ass Up captures emotion and feeling. And Mariah singing it live on MTV Uncut or Unplugged or whatever. Back That Ass Up doesn't capture the emotion and the depth of something like that.
How come it doesn't? I mean, we have the Tiny Desk version now. I mean, well, who's to say that we couldn't have that? I mean, like on MTV Unplugged. I mean,
yeah, I don't even know. Can you even back that ass up on a tiny desk? Like the whole thing feels weird.
They did.
Well,
Is rap really known for depth?
That's my whole point, though. Like I feel I'm struggling with my words now. There is a noticeable lack of depth when I compare the experience of hip hop to the experience of other types of music and other songs. And it's not even a black-white thing. It is really a genre specific thing.
I'm gonna kill you with one song and two rappers. Overnight Celebrity, Twista, and Kanye. They literally bridged classical music with hip hop. Even had to with the violin.
Did you see when he played with the gunfire and it was pop 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 pop? Yes, timeless, brother, timeless.
Dude, all that was a copy of Metallica doing Symphony of Metallica. I mean, they had a whole symphony and did the Metallica Black Album over top of a symphony.
Roll.
Stole it from the white man. Ain't that about a bitch? I mean, that is another thing that kind of kills the timelessness argument of hip hop, when a lot of our favorite hip hop timeless beats are actually samples of somebody else's timeless or lesser known song.
Yeah, I think we used to get into arguments about that all the time back in school with the whole Puff Daddy stuff and everything, because it was like he was taking music that was known and hits and stuff in the past and then basically just remixing it a bit and, you know, making hits off of it. So it's almost like you're using a cheat sheet in order to make hits.
Back that up, played by.
I mean, that all songs in retrospect in the music industry are all remakes. Ever since this thing called the standard was invented back in the 1920s, every genre, every what's the name has a standard. So they use basically the same hi hats, the same bass rhythms, and everything. You know, and it's interchangeably. That's why the James Brown hi hat and what's the name from the Funky Drummer is one of the most simple patterns in hip hop history. You can hear it damn near every rap song.
Well, if you know anything about playing musical instruments, there's only so many notes you can play on an instrument, so you're bound to have some crossover at some point or another.
And that's another thing I started to accept as I got older. Like playing an instrument unto itself it's an emotional thing in a lot of ways. Like playing the instrument has a feel to it, and I think the fact that there's a feel to it when it comes to like a band and the way they put together music versus with the construction of hip hop. It's a different type of feel entirely. It just creates a different universe of music.
Yeah, I think for people that are aficionados, you can kind of tell when something has been cheaply put together rather than, you know, when you're listening to someone who has a lot of formalized training. I'll just leave it at that.
Right.
Or not even so much formalized training, but actually has taken the time to actually, you know, hone and practice their craft. You can tell a big difference in someone who's just trying to fake it to make it and someone who's actually put the effort in.
Get out your feelings and take the link, nigga. So rap
I think another point. I think another point in all of that is with a lot of with the whole rap conversation that I found, because you know I've been in these conversations a billion times. A lot of people can't take the emotional, the emotionality from how they feel about rap, because a lot of them grew up and a lot of that was the majority of what they listened to.
Well, because SKC is that, you know, black for everybody under like younger Gen Xers on down, black was the dominant music choice of that, you know, that generation. That switch was made kind of like between me and my brothers. And my brothers are like late 50s. And that switch from R&B to rap took place. And a lot of guys link that the music to the skin color. And you know the younger generations worship the skin color.
Yeah, I mean, what I was trying to get to earlier, Snowman, was this, and I don't know if there's other people out there like myself. I don't know. Well, beyond my little circle, well, you listen to a pretty wide range of music, and I've never wanted to go out and in my everyday being dress and emulate those people.
Right. I get that. And look, I'll be honest with you. I was never really that type either. When I was into the ICP and stuff, I only did that like Halloween time or if I was going to a concert, something like that. But, the thing is
that's that's like going to a movie and somebody cosplaying at a movie.
Right. But see, the thing is I personally know a lot, and I mean a lot of white kids that, for example, are part of that goth or punk movement. And that is heavily influenced by black metal, death metal, dark metal, heavy metal, speed metal, you know, whatever word you want to insert before metal, that's heavily influenced by that. And they go out and dress like that every day of the week.
Get that.
I think here's what I noticed.
Right?
You have a lot of different options, whereas like the black cultural, the word I learned recently from our base camp was the urban monoculture, where you basically have one option of acceptability, right? There's kind of one general accepted tone, whereas like even within white America, you could go goth, you can go metal, they had skinheads, they had wiggers, they had, you know, the insane clown pop. You had varying groups of people that were their own subculture unto themselves, right? Whereas black is a subculture to itself.
I guess I get what you're saying.
Well,
I mean, I never really
like,
lived that close to a black subculture to refute what you're saying. All I know is, you know, what I grew up around, you know, so I'm just giving you the white aspect of it.
What are you saying, Trey?
Yeah, are you guys familiar? Like Snowman, you might be like My Chemical Romance, like Frank Iroh.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I know Snowman, you might be. But you know, my daughter's big into that. They're like the emo types. But you know, they dress in their all black. They look weird. They all look scary. You know, they'll line up overnight to watch their
emo's
concert.
just the evolution of goth. That's all it is.
Yeah, they never act out though.
Bullshit, dude. Bullshit.
But the
Bullshit,
behavior
dude. You know how, dude, you
doesn't
go back on
equate
something,
to-
Trey. I'm gonna push back on that because all you got to do is go back and watch some of these deadliest kids TV shows where they're talking about kids that go out and murder and often people, and almost all of them are into that goth movement.
Yeah, I agree with Snowman on that one.
Okay, I'm talking this emo, Frank. I'm not talking goth. From
The
our
same
day.
emo is the same thing as
But
goth.
here's the thing. Okay, let's look at per capita. Okay, Snowman. My daughter ain't goth. I've been following their movements and taking them to concerts for like freaking 15 years.
It's the same thing as
different
goth,
than,
bro.
you know, when we came
Accept
up.
it. It's the same
But
thing.
they're not out there
But I will say
killing-
I will say this though, Snowman. Being around the goth people, I was never
let's
worried
move
about
past
getting
that.
shot.
Okay, hold up real quick, SKC. Okay, that's my point. There's no drill goth music. You know, the drill, I mean goth emu, they're not making videos on the graves of their ops.
Yes, they are, yo. They drawing pentagrams in the middle of the damn floor, lighting candles. Look, there have been a lot of crash out white people music. Don't forget Columbine. They had on Marilyn Manson t-shirts.
Hey, Pastor, real quick, let me ask you a
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Would you consider Darius Rucker black music? The guy from Hootie and the Blowfish?
Yeah, you know what? Hell yeah, because I'm from North Carolina though, so I look at country music as black music. That's a little bit different. If I was like from like New York or like New Jersey, I probably wouldn't say that. But I grew up in the country. I grew up in the South, so I look at it a little different.
What black country music star you
Hootie and
listening
the
to?
Blowfish. I fucks with Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, you got
Only
Hootie. Yeah, my man last name Atkins or something like that. I forgot what's the dude's name that sang it.
Grace Atkins?
Yeah.
Ththat's a white dude.
So
They're a black country artist. Last name is Atkins.
Okay, so hold on, real quick. Pastor, if for the people that are on the panel, or whatever, you on your PC or your phone or whatever, look it up. Darius Rucker, look up his wife. Is he going to the cookout, Pastor?
Man, we been bringing white women to the cookout.
Oh, okay, all right, man, all right.
You don't like black men who do
You
like
act, hold on,
white
you
women.
act, hold on, you act like I did.
Yeah,
I've been dating white girls,
hold
Mexican
on.
girls. I bring them out.
North
You
Carolina,
act like I
hold on.
don't, man. I bring all my women home.
Yeah, in VA, North Carolina, the what? Yeah. Hey, SKC, I'm with Pastor on this one.
Yeah, it ain't. You got to think about it. We got Fort Bragg.
you
we got all
should
these.
respect, Trey.
We got all these military bases. Somebody gonna bring a white woman home, dog.
Hey,
Dude,
Trey,
Trey,
your
you way out of sync. You should
Yeah,
reset.
your link is trash, dude. You got a delay and we can't hear nothing. Get off that Obama phone. Go get a real job.
When have you ever seen Darius Rucker at a BET award?
This is what I'm saying. Like,
So Darius
Like,
Rucker
why,
is
it's like, why are we
look,
even playing these games?
hold on. The introduction of a black man does not make him automatically black music, right? Darius Rucker is not getting BET awards. Has not gotten a BET award, has he?
No,
He's got
he hasn't,
several
but-
MTV awards.
He hasn't gotten a BET award, but black people definitely listen to we had trail rides and all that shit down here, man.
Well, no, black folk do have a little country culture, and I've started to notice it, but like recently I've started to see like, oh, it is a whole thing, right? But I think it's a niche of black culture, right? It's not the popular mainstream black culture. And so like when we're talking about a Darius Rucker, yeah, black people have a range of desires, but that kind of puts them outside of the range of black America.
And that's the thing. Can y'all hear me good now?
Better.
Okay, if you bring a Darius Rucker into black culture, his music is tarnished. If you're an artist, you don't want to be included in black culture or what it's become. It doesn't suit you as an artist.
I've been to a Hootie and the Blowfish show, and it was predominantly more white folks there than black folks. I mean, there were black folks there, but they were just kind of scattered around.
That may be all black music. That may be all black music because white people definitely buy the tickets to the concert. So that may be all music.
I saw images from a NBA YoungBoy concert, and I didn't see a lot of white people there. It was all
Oh yeah,
YN.
Shit, your NBA young boy has a huge white. He may be bigger with white youth than he is with black youth.
Dude,
Now,
I mean,
now
look,
NBA,
I ain't
I would
letting none of my kids go to one of his shows.
shit. White kids love NBA young boy. We gotta stop this.
No, white people go to rap shows all the time. They are the majority of the money in the rap industry. So I'm not even going to deny that. I was just making a joke about NBA YoungBoy because it was like a whole it was a YN concert, bro. That shit look crazy.
yeah. You notice they canceling those concerts in YN cities, though.
So NBA YoungBoy is emo.
Yep, but I'm glad that Chicago has put a stop to that, kibosh to that shit. It was gonna be too many bodies. It was gonna be too much reckless atrocities happening in Chicago. I'm glad they canceled that concert. Yeah, Lil Uzi Vert, he emo too. He emo. Trippy Red, pretty much any
Travis Scott too. As a matter of fact, Travis Scott has Travis Scott has a song with Hans Zimmer where he like remixed his stuff.
What is emo like as a culture? Describe this to me.
I'm trying to tell you. I've been doing it 15 years, y'all. They wear the black makeup, head to toe, the black stuff, the black stockings cut off. They wear the makeup, black makeup, eyeliner, the guys and girls. And like I said, you just the biggest
That
fan.
sounds just like goth kids, man.
They pre-trans. They pre-trans. That's what they is.
But here's the thing, Snowman. I had this debate with my daughter, and it like almost turned into a household fight.
The difference is the girls dye their hair blue or fucking bright pink or some other dumb color.
They just changed the colors, bro. They just changed the colors. That's it.
In order to really understand emo, you got to understand goth, the whole gothic tradition.
Right. That's what I tried saying earlier. All emo is an evolution of the goth culture.
Correct. Okay, if you say that, then drill is an evolution of gangster rap.
It is.
That's
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So emos are just goth kids who are even more emotional than the goth were. I guess the goth used to focus on the macabre, dark things, dark emotions, etc., cutting themselves as a whole, stereotype goes. And emos just took it a step further to committing suicide.
And that is unfortunately true. That's
I know.
true.
What was that one rap guy?
Well, hold on.
My son.
Goths talk about suicide. Emos actually do it. And take people along with it.
He wanted to play this one rap song. I kept getting on him about that shit. So I think it was like Juice WRLD. He had that one song like "My heart is breaking." Blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you like this shit? This depressed ass?
So Juice WRLD was emo. Juice WRLD was an emo.
I'm like, you're not even old enough to have those feelings yet. Why are you listening to this shit, man? Stop.
Well, Juice WRLD and XXXTentacion, they made that sad rap. That pill.
And he got Zero. Hold on, because and Zero, the rap, he a rapper down here in Texas. Zero was making that sad rap before everybody. That nigga had everybody depressed listening to rap.
I hate you now. I hate you so much. I hate you.
I empathize with them because
these young niggas called timeless now. Juice WRLD.
If you look at Gen Z or younger, what they're going through now, they have a lot of reasons to be sad.
They just bitch ass. They just bitches. They just
Yeah, I
need a
just
fucking
think they
man to
bitch.
fuck
Nah, man. It's easy to say
Well,
that.
the truth of the matter is it the kids that are bitches or is it the parents that are raising them that are bitches?
Nah, because look.
It's the parents that's raising them that's bitches for not giving them
The
the right
apple don't fall
opportunity.
from the tree, man.
When
It's
we
the
were
parents,
young,
not the kids.
when we were young,
Look at the shit we went through, man. We went
Yeah,
through
but
like,
Trey,
20
it
years
ain't
of
that hard.
glory.
You know damn well none of these parents are telling their kids no. They're all letting
No,
them do whatever they fucking want. These kids are
it's
running
not
their
that.
fucking house.
Yeah.
There ain't no fucking parental supervision. It's these fucking dumbass parents, these emotional parents making these bitch ass fucking kids.
that's part of it. But millennials grew up with baby boomer or Gen X baby boomer parents who were latchkey. We're latchkey kids. We basically raised ourselves. Gen X kids and millennial kids. So that our parents just didn't care. But that's part of it. But also the part of it is think about what these kids are going through. when we were young, we didn't have discussions about gender or sexual orientation. We actually learned
You got fucking your ass beat. You would have got jumped.
No, you know what, Socrates, you just read my mind. I think it's not.
No, like, seriously.
It's
No,
not an
seriously.
accident that we have a transgender culture and emo rap happening parallel.
That's what I'm saying. Think about it. Think about it. When you were younger, when we were younger, there were cliques, especially when you were in high school, right? Especially in my high school, you had your goth kids, you had your skateboard kids, you had your rap kids, you had your sports kids, you had your nerds, you had your anime kids. You had all these cliques, and you can join them or go between them, etc. You can still talk to girls. You still went to the mall. You still talk to women in face. These youngsters now, they don't talk to women in person. Everything.
What they still dealing with the Arabs?
Who's talking? Who's that?
No, I was messed up. You got mute up. You got it.
They don't talk to women in person. There's no going out to malls anymore. There's no going out on dates anymore. Everything's online, and online is this weird something. There's a concept called breaking the egg, where if you go online long enough and go into these weird Discords or Reddit posts, you eventually fall into the trans community. Every road in the internet leads to these deviant weirdos who do something called breaking the egg. And what's breaking the egg is convincing people that they're actually trans. And they love targeting young people because young people are impressionable. So you got one part. Yeah, hold on. You got one aspect as a young person. You got them trying to manipulate you into a weird sexual orientation to probably prey on you. Then you have the girls who are more interested on going online, becoming local celebrities, or starting their OnlyFans. It's really effed up. I mean, come on. That's like when you were young at 14, 15, 16, 17, your high school sweetheart or the girl you were dating with, you were competing with all the other high schoolers in the entire city or world. You weren't competing with strangers on the internet with a girl in your school. You weren't competing with her OnlyFans career that she can have as a freshman in college. Like this is
you kind of was, but it was limited. It was limited though.
Bro. Hey, look, I'm from Chicago. Look, we us high schoolers in Chicago in the early 2000s, we had to compete with the drug dealers. We had to compete with R. Kelly.
Yes, that's true.
But now
He's a local drug dealer. Hold on. No.
We can't compete with R. Kelly, man.
How cooked you are.
You can't compete with R. Kelly.
I'm from New York City. I'm from New York City.
That's why you gotta have game.
Y'all got the last part though,
bro. You gotta
have last part though. Look, we agree against West Coast production. These bitches, as soon as they turn 18 while in high school, they want to go travel to LA to be in Wesley Pipes on video, bro. Look, this shit ain't nothing.
That wasn't common. That wasn't common. No, it was not, man. It was not common. That's
why all these niggas making sad rap, bro. Listen. I think the emo generation is because niggas can't get no coochie. It's like
exactly
heartbroken music. Like, and I'm not even trying to be like down. I'm not trying to be harsh about it, but like on the grand scale of things, these are symptoms of broken culture because young people are supposed to be like having families and starting careers and businesses and shit. But if the girls want to go be in a Wesley Snipes video and it's like $2,000 a month just to rent a little room in a shitty neighborhood, emo music.
Man, y'all are late, man. Y'all need to go listen to more CGA, man. Every dating and marriage, everything is monetized now. So
it is. It's all about the money, bro.
Yeah, and you see these young dudes, man, they on the young dudes down in Miami, the crypto bros, all these cats, they straight up talk about tricking and how they gotta pay their women and stuff.
Yeah, it's part
that's
of it.
Gonna make more emo music. That's gonna make more
exactly.
That's gonna make more emo music.
I've heard weird conversations with these youngsters about how they'll say, yeah, you can F my girl. Like it's common for them to share girlfriends. Because none of them can actually have a girlfriend.
Tricking used to be a 30 and up game. It was never like
the stomach.
That's tricking is like a 40 and up game, really. It ain't really.
Everybody tricks, bro.
No, tricking has not always been a heavy. Tricking has not always been a. No, it has not.
Tricking in high school is like
nobody tricking in high school.
For ice cream, you was tricking.
No, I'm talking about straight. No. I'm talking about
tricking. What you talking about?
I'm talking about straight up Coach Greg Adams tricking. That is a 40 and up game.
No. Unless you was in these streets like I was out here trapping with the bandos, nigga. We was out here selling motherfucking drugs and all that shit in high school. Yeah, we was tricking too, nigga. What you talking about?
You had a bad childhood. Your parents didn't love you.
I'm from Chicago. Every black kid here in the city, except for the ones in Hyde Park and Kentwood, had a bad childhood, bro. We had to grow up quicker than we supposed to.
When you got to compete against R. Kelly at high school, bro, you're gonna sell some dope, man. The game is up there, bro. You got to ball up top when you at that.
We in Atlanta pimping, all that shit. Yeah, look, bro. That's why us Chicago niggas, we when we 18, we already 30.
God damn, man, life come at you fast, don't it? Look, we after the 3 hour mark too. I'm gonna shut this thing down in a second. I gotta get up out of here. That's wild though, man. You gotta compete with R. Kelly in high school, bro. I'm trying to imagine that. You know how depressed that should make you.
Nigga used to pull up. I went to Calumet Hood right there on 8131 South Main Street. Kanye rapped about it. Look, this nigga used to pull up in a motherfucking silver Range Rover right on the corner of on 80th Street, bro. And this nigga, and we was like, oh, look, it's R. Kelly. You know, we being kids and all. We like, man, well, I can believe I can fly. You know, this R. Kelly. You know, we didn't think this nigga was actually picking on one of our fucking classmates and about to go have this girl stressed the fuck out, man. No, man, that shit opened my eyes up.
That song is classic though. I Believe I Can Fly. That's a classic song.
That shit is terrible.
But that's not rap.
Tricking in the junior high.
Right.
Bro, by the time you in Chicago, by the time you hit the 3rd grade, bro, you already you already decided like you gonna be one of them or you ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Not
you
the
ain't got
3rd grade, dog.
It's crazy how I Believe I Can Fly was it was the countrywide graduation song, and then it all just stopped one year.
Hey, bro,
it was a timeless song, and then it wasn't no more.
Yo, Average, hey, yo, look, look, all the so-called goalpost movie, all that shit began at 8 years old if you're a black boy in the city of Chicago. I hate to tell you, get measured on the same level as a grown-ass man here in the city of Chicago. If you ain't got the fresh Balenciaga, I know I ain't saying that right, but you know what I'm trying to say, them hot 700 ugly-ass shoes. If you ain't got them, the Yeezys, if you ain't wearing Alexander McQueen, even in fucking second and 3rd grade, you is not in. Even the girls gonna roast you.
What?
Yeah, I don't. But Chicago is not the experience for most black people. More black people live down south than anywhere else. So Chicago really ain't the culture.
No, I don't think anyone lived that way. I'm from New York City and Brooklyn, and we didn't even live that way. Yeah, you had local drug dealers.
Y'all the fashion capital of the world. Y'all gotta understand. Look, bro, everything go through New York. Y'all got the cheapest apparel. I mean, I ain't trying to see on our culture, but y'all get everything for the cheap. Here in the city of Chicago, everything costs, bro. So you gotta have that shit to be in the so-called in the who's.
I don't.
Hold on. Yeah, get in there.
Yeah, this doesn't sound correct because you guys are really trying to tell me that these guys had to have all of these expensive things in order to engage with women.
Yes.
But then I see guys that look like bums right now who are engaging with women.
The reason it's twofold.
I noticed when I got into freshman year, right? I didn't even know how this could be possible. I'm still like flabbergasted about the logistics. When I was a freshman in high school, 9th grade, girls that came into the 9th grade already had 11th and 12th grade boyfriends. We just got here, bitch. Like, how did this even happen?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't know. I
They
guess it's
met them over
different.
the summer. Y'all niggas was moving too slow.
I was playing basketball and football and shit. I didn't know I was supposed to be chasing pussy. I had other distractions. I didn't realize the game was happening.
Yeah, I guess there's different goals, I guess, man. Maybe the Eastleigh Fight Bus came in early.
It starts earlier than you think, bro.
Oh man, in this conversation some time ago, I know that I can be biased. I get that, but I also think that the other side of the conversation is biased as well because I literally heard some dudes tell me that the rap artists of today were going to be remembered like the classical artists of old.
Right.
at 300 years from now, people still are gonna be bobbing their head to Jay-Z or something. I'm like, that just
right.
But
They
you
teaching
you can say
hardcore.
that about all this music, right? You can say that
Well,
Metallica ain't gonna make it, Korn ain't
you
gonna make
can't
it.
though. You can't though, because that's why we have like the all right. Where's the classic hip hop station? We have a classic rock station.
Well, you know, you have 80s and 90s rap stations.
Yeah, you gotta pay for it on satellite. But the point I'm trying to make though is that it's not really it's my opinion, it's very subjective again. I don't think it's gonna last, just like SKC said, whereas like people are still gonna go back and listen to like I said, I just discovered Stairway to Heaven. Like that was already classic rock, and I went back and I can appreciate that song right now where I am in life. I can appreciate it for what it was then. And I don't know that you can have that same capture of a moment with a lot of rap songs. Like in 50 years, are we really gonna play Ice Cube's "Today Was a Good Day" and be like, "This was the shit"?
Because people going to keep. I'm gonna tell you how rap gonna make it into the future. People gonna keep sampling it, and like you know, that's how a lot of this music kind of made it. A lot of this music will be forgot about, like the Blue Jays and all them niggas that could sing real good. That shit will be forgot about if people didn't sample it. And what's going to end up happening is people going to keep sampling the music. So that's how it's going to keep. That's how it's going to make it into the future. Now, I admit this may not be the best music we've ever made. This may not be the best music we've ever made. I'll give y'all that. But it's going to make it into the future.
I don't think people are going to continue sampling.
Oh no, sample gonna be around forever. I mean, I hate to tell y'all this.
With AI, with AI
yeah,
making music now, AI
yeah.
is definitely going to sample.
I know.
Well, how about
that's
though?
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is I think it's going to get so saturated that humanity is going to be searching for uniqueness and human flaws so much because AI can make it so perfectly.
Hell, they got an AI actress right now. I forget her name, but they're trying to get
They
her
just
signed
signed
to
another
LA.
AI artist, a black R&B singer. Well, not she ain't really R. That's crazy. She ain't really black. They you know what I mean. They got an AI that's a black a black woman that sings R&B, and they just signed her.
I told you I'm gonna get me an AI female co-host. I seen some dude got a channel. He kind of has an AI co-host up there. I'm like, you know what? That's what I need.
And I think that with the addition of AI and it being able to replicate things so much, and people being able to program and all that other stuff, I think the musical experience is going to change from what people hear to over the airways or whatever device that they use to know you can only hear this song live from this person. Blah blah blah. I think that it's gonna go in that direction.
Yeah, I already got an AI report out named Lady K, aka Keisha. I use one already.
Because it'll be more about the unique experience than just the music.
It'll have to go back to live bands.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. And again, there's something about the live band or just the band experience in general.
Correct.
And
Because
this is why I was talking about the comparison between rap. Like the shit literally comes out of computer, bro. You can't really replicate that with the live band feel, you know?
Well, I hate to say this, but hip hop in its essence always came from a machine. Like I said,
That's what I'm telling you.
And on top of that, I don't think there's an original hip hop composer. Like we have producers, but we don't really have an actual hip hop composer. Like actual take the notations down, actually use actual instruments to compose a beat. A lot of hip hop is nothing but overly sample beats, mainly James Brown, funky drummer beat. Like I said before,
There is no composition in hip hop.
Scott Storch, I
Writing
believe,
music.
did that. I think Timberland did that. I think
Did what exactly? Well, what are you saying he did?
Timberland can read and write music on a note level.
No, within hip hop, there is no composition itself. Like they have those skills independently of hip hop because they know how to play instruments.
Okay, about the Neptunes. You know the Neptunes, that's nothing but band board. They're nothing
They're
but a bunch of band members. They're real musicians.
When you're a musician, it forces you to learn the structure of your art. and that's what makes art beautiful, because there's definitely an emotion and a feel to it. Like one guy can play a song and another guy can play it and it'll just be totally different, but there's still structure. And that's why you have to learn the act. That's why there's composition, so you can write down the notes. Like, because I remember when I was a kid and I tried to learn the piano because I had a musical class, and so we were learning how to write music. It's like a language unto itself, bro. Like the symbols, the little dashes, and the upside down hangy things and all that. It's literally like trying to decode hieroglyphics, bro. But it's a language.
And that's what I mean, is like there is, because you have so many people that have skipped those steps, and because they, you know, chasing the fame and blah blah blah, they don't understand that in that step of actually learning music, there's a certain properties within music that you can't replicate the other way.
Right. But we kind of meandered all the way through the hip hop music conversation, and yeah. I've been shitting on black music a lot. All right, I find it wanting in a lot of areas. I just do.
Well,
but that's just me.
Welcome,
right? I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
Nah, you've been going in on black people pretty bad lately, Hood. And you ain't been saying nothing about the great white crash out and all these white people committing crimes.
Well, there's not a lot of white people committing crimes. Like,
yes, there is.
This is now we're back to that original. This is not like that thing. How many mass shooters do you think happen in a year?
Hood, don't try to hit me with statistics and numbers.
See
We
what
talk
I
about
mean?
white people
You
crashing
see
out.
what I mean?
We don't need them numbers. We don't need
Don't try
that
to do
So
that
my
shit.
question to you is this: when we're talking in actual families,
Who's the
real
majority of the
people,
race in this
why
country?
are we talking in percentages instead of real numbers when we're dealing with real people?
Okay, because percentages are real numbers.
No, percentages, dude, that don't even make sense.
Yes, it does.
Percentages are not real numbers.
Yes, they are.
No, they are
Who's
not.
the main majority of race in this
Yes,
country?
yes, they are.
White people are the
Percentages
majority.
are not real numbers. Real numbers would be
Percentages.
0 through 9. Those are real numbers.
I understand that this
Whole
may be.
numbers.
I understand that this may be difficult, but percentages are real numbers. We
No,
use
I'm gonna have
percentages
to tell you
in
that
order
if you
to
have
do
to
our
take a
taxes.
percentage of a number, then you're not talking about raw data. You're not talking
We
about
do our
real
percentages.
numbers, and we're
We
not.
do our percent. We use percentage to pay our
We use
taxes.
percentages to
They are
get
real
a-
numbers.
Oh my motherfucking god!
Kid, you just kid, bro.
It's a
Arguing,
nuance.
arguing math with the community, man, is
It's a nuance, yo, because these white
nuance.
people crashing out, dog.
What is the nuance that you're speaking of, Pastor? I got like 2 more minutes. I'm gonna let you.
I'm gonna go do this real quick with you. The nuance is we haven't seen modern white people be this economically deprived and poor before, and not knowing where they're gonna get a bailout from. They're gonna crash out.
What about the Great Depression,
the Great
Pastor?
Depression didn't
Nah,
happen.
the Great Depression, they had help from the blacks. We not helping their ass this time.
Hold on. How did
We
we
not
help
giving them no
blacks?
collard greens. We not giving them. We not giving them. We not giving them no collard greens.
How do it equivalent?
Man, during the Dust Bowl, black people was helping white people.
Getaway drivers? What was going on? What did we do?
We were giving them beans and collard greens and cornbread, rice.
This is great revisionist.
When?
During the
I'm
whole
trying to
Great
figure out
Depression,
when.
Let me ask you a question. Did you take ethnic studies in college, or like black studies or something like that?
It was part of. I went to HBCU, so yeah, of course. You
went to ethnic studies university. No wonder.
Yeah, but we was giving them collard greens. Let me tell you something. Black people forever. Y'all have a blessed day.
Oh my God, the cope.
Man.
The cope is real. Oh man.
Pastor is in medicine too, so just think about that.
Oh God. Oh, That's the reason why I said, and I'm not gonna sound bogus. I halfway like you colors. You blacks is kind of I don't fuck with you niggas, but nah, I do not want a nigga in medicine. I do not want a nigga doctor. No. I want a
No
nigga
black
nurse.
pilots either.
No.
Oh, man. He said he got to a dead end. He's like, I'm not gonna let this history get in the way of my point.
I refuse. I'm sorry. Hell, I don't even feel comfortable getting on a train that has a black train operator, sir. Let alone a black pilot on a plane. No, absolutely not. No.
There's a idea on the right wing, and I kind of lean into this a little bit. Like, as a country, how far do you think we would have gotten if we hadn't decided to just stop and make black people feel good about everything?
Man, that's a heck of a question, man.
Like, we could have been on the Mars, we could have been on the moon, we could have had colonies, we could have discovered alien life or some shit, but here we are doing DEI and affirmative action and shit. We ain't never going nowhere.
I was in the middle of finishing up an article about how much money has been wasted in college programs on pretty much dead end degrees. And they're moneymakers to colleges because they get funds from the government, and the college doesn't have to really farm out a lot of, labs or real research towards those things. The people just have these, ridiculous groups that they make, and they'll talk about different things and farm out a bunch of books and stuff. But the college doesn't have to spend a lot of money on hard research or labs or studies or anything of that nature because there's really nothing to study.
Right, because there's no jobs for a transgender economics major.
Correct. And you don't need a lab to do anything.
Right. Like, you can study the theory of transgender economics on your smartphone.
Well, but what about the blacks that hold a degree in hip hop history studies, and saying that the degree in Tupac, they teach with what's his name?
We already have a Michael Eric Dyson. We don't.
That's
need
who it was. That's who doing it. That's who.
So what? How do those style of degrees equate to anything productive for the nation?
Well, Lupe Fiasco also has a college course on hip hop. Maybe we could use the 16 bars and the actual A and B rhyme scheme to end world hunger and bring world peace. Through rhymes. Maybe Dr. Drake could produce a national anthem too.
What if we tried rapping to the corn?
Rapping to the corn.
Lose my mind. Up in here. Like, what if we tried that? It'd probably make the corn grow tougher. Gangsta corn.
The kernel that pops.
I mean, listen, you got to try things. Science is about experimentation at its heart, right? You never know until you try.
Hey, since you going down that rabbit hole, we might as well do it to the grain and the wheat. Since we always talk about bread, in the hip hop culture. So I think we should go ahead and do that to the same thing with wheat and grains and shit.
You know what? I agree with Pastor. Rap is better than Monsanto for the corn, though.
You were arguing with somebody. They sent me somebody. I think it was Freezon sent me a link. I'm not sure if it was him or not, but it was somebody. They sent me a link, and you were arguing with somebody about DEI or something like that. And they were stating that that white women
benefit the most
from DEI. But I think your argument was, if that's the case, then why are black politicians the biggest arguers for DEI?
Right.
And I've never understood, like, I don't understand why that is the case. I still haven't figured that one out.
And I don't think we will. I don't think we're gonna get a definitive answer to that. This ain't SKC. Yeah. Is that SKC or Free Zone? I forgot who avatar that. SKC. All right, my bad. Yeah. Yeah, SKC. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that Red Illusion. The idea was first DI doesn't exist.
Remember
It was-
that? I
Yeah,
totally forgot about
it
that.
wasn't. It was not being taught in school at any level whatsoever.
Bro.
It's just a. It's just a college level critical theory type of thing that only has to do with law. Then you break all that down. Then it's a good thing. And then now it's all well. It all just benefits white women.
I totally forgot that it never happened in the first place, bro. How do you
Bro.
forget a thing like that?
You remember
was
when Art the
wild.
Star came over to my channel and was trying to argue with me about it? I was like,
Yeah,
"No."
bro, that was wild. This thing is not
Just like
real.
critical race theory, it doesn't exist until it exists.
Oh man, that's what we were arguing about back then. It was critical race theory, and they're saying it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, listen, I got to get out of here. We've been pushing this thing back too long. Snowman, what'd you come back up for, Snowman?
Because SKC made a good point about the DEI thing, man. I've been saying for I don't know how many months, actually more so since what was it that 30,000 black women got fired from the government,
300,000
or 300,000 black women got fired from the government. If DEI actually helped white women the most, why is it black women are the ones getting fired, and why are the black women the ones crying about it?
Because they were the least important people.
What's more, Snowman? 300,000.
Dude, I have yet to see a Megyn Kelly or anybody get on the news or any social media platform that was white complaining about DEI ending.
Right, but 300,000 black women lost their jobs from those, I guess, those federal jobs and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Which one of those departments have been stated, oh man, we can't survive. We're having such a personnel problem that we can't function anymore. And
Not one of them, but here's another thought that I've been posing too. The whole argument that black women keep making that there aren't no black people in positions of power. Well, then how the fuck did 300,000 black women just lose federal jobs if there aren't no black people in power?
Oh yeah, I went over that. They got judges, and the only thing we don't really have is a bunch of governors. But
I mean, you just had 300 black women with government jobs. Is that not a power position? 300,000 of them lost power positions.
Let me close with this last point, because I hope the government shuts down. Because not only is he going to fire a lot more people from the federal government, he said we're going to stop sending out welfare checks too. Oh God.
Dude, are you trying to start a fucking world war?
He said we're cutting the checks, bro. If nobody gonna be working there to do the processing, so we're just not gonna send your checks out. We fired that whole department. I hope the government shuts down. I want to see what happens. But anyway, we're gonna wrap this one up, y'all. I will catch y'all later, man. Shut down the government. Let's see what happens.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.